Uy, kuyugi ko, nganong di man ka. Kuyugin ako, bisan dili ko gwapa. Kahibalo ko, mustorya sa kaagi sa una. Sa mga bayani, nagigira lang para sa kuma. Isog mo tasma, andam mo away mamatay. Uli unsa ko pa, 𝒂𝒒𝒒𝒂𝒒𝒒 Kuyugi lagi ko, di man ko mamugos. Kuyugang muka ko sa kagahapon ni umabon. Kuyugi lagi ko, di man ko mamugos. Kuyugang muka ko sa kalayo ni tupas. Andam daw pa ng subo para malingkawas kuyog nimo. Magkuyog na ta, pagdali na diha. Ngano di ay, nganong di man kaganahan. Kupta na to, ang sundang nila pulapo. Leon kilat, flores agargadyo. Isog mo tasman, andam mo away mamatay. Ulipon sa gugma, gugmang giatay. Kuyugi lagi ko, di man ko mamugos. Kuyugang muka ko sa kagahapon ni umabon. Kuyugi lagi ko, di man ko mamugos. Kuyugang muka ko sa kalayo ni tupas. Andam daw ba ng suboy para malingkawas kuyog nimo. Kundi ko nimo kuyugan, imunti kag talawan. Di nakakatilaw sa humba o kinilaw. Kuyugi lagi ko, di man ko mamugos. Kuyugang muka ko sa kagahapon ni umabon. Kuyugi lagi ko, di man ko mamugos. Kuyugang muka ko sa kalayo ni tupas. Andam daw ba ng subon para malingkawas kuyog nimo. Kuyog nimo. Kuyog nimo.
History teaches us courage and selfless acts of heroes like that of Jose Rizal or General Gregorio del Pilar. The stories about their fight against superior foreign enemies come across as a rallying cry for people to identify a common nation and love of country. But there are stories too in the regions and localities that should be part of the whole history of the Philippines. In recent years, a surge in research and writing of local histories reintroduced us to local heroes like Leon Quilat, General Arcadio Maxilom, and others. To many local people though, they're just names of streets.
Kaila ba kang Leon Quilat na
Wala. Didya?
Leon Quilat.
Okay la.
Ang gitawag niya ni San God Leon Quilat. Pero ako kitag tao, kakinsa ng tao nga Leon Quilat.
Hi, Leon Quilat,
𝒂𝒕𝒐, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, wants to connect the locals with their past. We produced music videos, published books in local history, and put the names of local heroes literally on the dining table. In 2018, we assembled a group of kids and tasked them to write a book about 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 for children.
I first heard about 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 when I was looking for something to read at my house.
My Araling Palipunan teacher was lecturing about the famous people in Cebu, and 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 was one of our topics.
I mostly knew 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 by name. History-wise, I didn't know much about 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂.
𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 or Pantaleon Villegas was a Katipunan general who led the Cebuanos' fight against Spain in what we now know as the 1898 Battle of 𝒕𝒐𝒍𝒍. In the book that we published, history writer 𝒕𝒓𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 wrote that the battle was the crucial spark that turned the tide against the forces of Spain in Cebu.
It was a big victory for the locals because for the first time in history, hingdagan ng mga katsila.
Like many, 𝒕𝒐𝒍𝒍 did not know the story about 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 or other local historical figures for that matter.
Sa naobserbahan ko, parang hindi to masyadong tinuturo ng mga guro kasi sa textbook kasi nila, para bang hindi to nakafocus.
Local history was not taught as a core subject in schools, even before the Philippines implemented the K-12 basic education curriculum in 2016.
Right now, murag na may mga attempts no to focus on local history no nanay although medyo lacking siya gamay, so this book can fill in that gap no.
With the help of our friends established in the fields of heritage advocacy, design, art direction, and storytelling, we mentored the kids to help them create a children's story based on the heroism of 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂.
He cared not only for himself, but because he cared for people in the country, and he loved the country so much, and then he was not scared to fight for the country.
This is a unique case no of children being told history and then them retelling it no.
Mas ligon ang condition sa bata kung siya mismo involved siya sa pagpanday sa narrative, sa istorya.
When I asked the students what is the most interesting, like magical feature of the story of 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂, and they pointed out the sigbin, how 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 has a sigbin who helped him.
I wanted to add a touch of the supernatural in the story so that little kids would also hear about it.
This particular genre called speculative fiction that includes fantasy, maybe some elements of horror and sci-fi. They really like this kind of genre in the works that they read.
The humans are happy fishing when the aliens, the Spaniards, come to get them.
The artist has to think like a child, but in this case, unique ni siya kay it's the children themselves doing that. Of course, sa nga nga level ang children think to murag wild kayo ng imagination ba no, and so that shows sa ilang version sa 𝒊𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 story no, so it's a bit wild na sci-fi elements no.
So we were thinking of like sci-fi themes, like Iron Man, Avengers, since that's Avengers inspired one of the writers.
I learned a lot from this experience, mostly about history and my art direction. I have so many people around me to help with this project, and I'm happy to help bring this project to life.
Other kids should read this story because it's very important for us, especially as Cebuanos, to know about our past and how we got our freedom that we now have today.
Whatever effort there is to make students read, entice them with a new kind of story, sci-fi infused story based on a historical figure, can actually make them, start reading, and maybe like, when they start reading this, like, what else is there that we can read, and so the demand will start there, and hopefully writers will catch up with the demand.
I think the children will enjoy reading it, and I think they will grow to love Leon Kilat.
Leon Kilat is like a good example to young kids.
Kailangan di ay nga kita tanan kay magtinabangay ta para ato yung mabuhat na to kung sa atong ganahan.
I admire Leon Kilat for leading the Cebuanos in fighting for our independence.
I'm really happy that I got to work with professionals because I just did art as a hobby.
Mas dali ang transmission sa information kung magtanaw kag pictures.
I think ang ultimate nga importance sa history is the sense of narrative, no? The sense of wonder.
There are a limited number of writers who focus on, let's say, children's stories or children's books or even YA.
Leon sa imong kaisog, kagwapo o kakusgan, naabay swerteng babae diha sa imong dughan. Sa matang kilap ikaw mitugan, usama nimong nagwapa o buutan, mga pahirog sa maniya ng bulan, di ka ba'y lubisan sa bulawan. Ako siyang halaran, pagkigawayan, pagkamatian. Siya mao ang Pilipinas, atong yutang natauhan.
They say looks can be deceiving. At first glance, I thought you were not much to look at. All icing, no cake, all steam, not much brew. But the night air sings of fulfilling ancient dreams. The moon whispers of tenderness for the smallest of them, for the unheard, the unseen. And as the sun breaks through our heroes' memories, your blinding smile hits my heart, like the warrior's blade, like 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒂𝒊𝒕𝒂𝒂𝒏 spear. But the far seas beckon you. The memories on these walls try to soothe the pain of parting. I seek for your warmth, but only these sheets comfort me. My tears are salt water flowing to bridge the seas and islands that divide us. The stars listen to my sighs as I look for you in the skies. And now you're here. Our love blazes like the fire of our heroes' revolution. Our hearts entwined is such sweet victory, incomparable, like the journey of our people, like the richness of our culture.
special All Souls Day presentation when others in the world would celebrate Halloween or Hallows Eve, or and here at in Cebu, here in the Philippines, here at Palmgrass, we celebrate our our ancestors who were also regarded as anitos or gods by our pre-colonial Visayans. So I know, thank you very much everyone for those who are on Facebook Live with us and also those who are here with us physically at our safe venue at the Alfresco Hardin Dagami. And of course, you see me in an and of course you see me in a costume of trying to be an Encanto. So, and then of course at my side you would see a mythical creature, a Bakunawa, and this is the design of our bar counter at Hardin Dagami, because the bar counter here is designed uh, also this is patterned for the Caracoa. This is the trading, the ancient trading warship of the Visayans or of the Cebuanos. So the Caracoa had a Bakunawa head. So that's why our bar counter here at Hardin Dagami has a Bakunawa design. And of course, I am wearing trying to be an Encanto or a fairy, because we were actually growing up. I was growing up with the stories from my father of this other world. So every time, it was always almost every night. It was actually every night after dinner time. So after my mother would lead the rosary, and after the rosary, it is my father who would tell us stories when the lights are out. He would tell us about this palace of the Encantos, of the fairies in the Balite or the Dakit. And then, of course, there were so many stories, and that was every night. So we thank our partners in this afternoon's event, in today's event. We thank the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, the National Quincentennial Committee, the University of San Carlos, Department of Anthropology, Sociology, and History. May we show their logos? And then we also have the Gaddafi, the Social Science Society, the Central Visayas Association of Museums, SOAN 2020, the Yandi Heritage Center, and Queen City Cebu. So those are our partners. So this event became possible because, and then this is being shown in the pages of our partners. And so we thank everyone who is with us today, this afternoon, in this one-of-a-kind event, because it is about the world of our ancestors. So this month is a month of celebrations, and this year is a year of celebrations. So we have this event because we are celebrating this month the Museums and Galleries Month, and we are celebrating also the Cebu 500. So of course, it is very important for us to visit our museums, because when we visit our museums, we are able to trace our roots. We are able to know our past. We are and in that way we are able to know ourselves. So we are also celebrating this year the Cebu 500, the 500 years of the victory at Mactan, the 500 years of the first circumnavigation of the world, and the 500 years of the arrival of Christianity in our islands. And of course, this year, 2021, is declared as the year of our pre-colonial ancestors. So we also celebrate this month. This month is also, this really is a very significant month, because we are celebrating the National Indigenous Peoples Month this October. And of course, it is we celebrate with all indigenous peoples in our country and even in the world, because if we are able actually to know our past and our identity, we would be able to know the way of life of our ancestors, of our pre-colonial ancestors, when we look at the way of life right now of the of our indigenous peoples. So we are one with the indigenous peoples in their hope and in their goal of fighting for their rights as indigenous peoples. So we are also celebrating this month, or earlier this month, we celebrated the World Teachers Day, and we greet our teachers a happy World Teachers Day, or we greeted our teachers a happy World Teachers Day. And of course, we honor our teachers because it is through our teachers that we are able to know many things. We know about our history, we know about how to develop our society through our teachers. And so we also celebrate this month. The Catholics of the world celebrate the Holy Rosary, the month of the Holy Rosary in honor of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And also this month is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So this is the month to remind all women of this fight against the breast cancer, how to reduce the risk of breast cancer. And of course, it's through a healthy lifestyle. So thank you very much for celebrating with us this month and this year, the year of our pre-colonial ancestors. And how else do we celebrate this than through these events that would take us back to our past, and we travel back in time and know the world of our ancestors through our celebration, through our hybrid event today. And we thank everyone who is with us on Facebook Live. We would like to recognize those who have who have who have been with us since even the countdown, even if we have a technical problem. So we have John Eton here, we have Clarissa, we have Hannah, we have Papel Diliha, maayong hapon, Clarissa, John Eton. So also at the National Quincentennial Committee page, we would like to recognize Niema Pamulag. We have Henny Colina, Limuel Viloria Gonzaga, Ian, Ma, John Gilbert, Christine. John Gilbert is from Southern Leyte. Ian is from the Dapitan City Division. Putungan National High School. Limuel is from Bacolod City. And Vince Derrick from Cebu City. And Gilna Pamulag from Iloilo City. Daghang salamat for watching and for joining us in our journey back to the world of our ancestors in this kalag-kalag, in this in celebration of the All Souls Day, and in the other parts of the world they are celebrating the Halloween. And of course, we would like to recognize also our participants who registered in our online registration. We have our participants who have said that they are connected with these institutions from the Cebu Normal University, from the University of San Carlos, Cebu Institute of Technology, Active One Health Incorporated, someone from the House of Representatives, from Caraga State University, from Mindanao State University, Iligan, from Sisidlan Institute, from someone from a realty broker, from MSU IIT Kapilas Bayan, and also from Cebu Doctors University. And we are happy that the Tuburan Institute is with us. And we have also from Police Regional Office, Region 7, from BJMP. We have from the Ateneo de Davao University. We have also from the Powerhouse English Center. Welcome to our event. We have someone from a call center from SAICS. We have from CATS Aero College. And this is an aeronautics college. Thank you very much for being with us. We are going to learn about flying in pre-colonial times. and so from Aklan Catholic College, from USC Palabra, also our partner in past events, from the literature department of the University of San Carlos. We have also from the University of the Philippines, from Department of Education, Binyan City, from someone from Stockbridge American International School, someone from JP Morgan, someone from the Visayas State University, from Keeper. We have also from Hans Coquilla Alta Costura from the Adventist University of the Philippines, from DepEd City of San Fernando, Pampanga. We have someone from the Monwalk Elementary School, St. Peter's College of Ormoc, Holy Cross of Davao College, someone from STI, and we have someone from the PUP Manila. We also have from the Ormoc City Visual Arts Association, Davao Central Colleges, and Liceo de Cagayan University. Daghang salamat to all who registered and even those who have not registered. Thank you very much for joining us in this journey back to our pre-colonial roots. So so everyone who is on Facebook, you can write the hashtag Visayan Folklore, or you can put Ingon Nato. So of course, Ingon Nato is a Visayan word. It is a Cebuano word, which means not like us. So we usually refer to those in the spirits in the underworld, or those spirits, the nature spirits, or those that we don't know, like the spirits in the universe that we don't know. We call them in Cebuano, we call them the Ingonato. And we thank our if you have seen our graphics, our poster, may we show our poster? So our poster is it is a creation. It is a digital art that is found in this digital art is found in the room 415 of Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. This is the title of this is Cacao in the River, and this is a depiction of Maria Cacao by a University of the Philippines fine art students when we were still building Palmgrass. So the students the fine art students of UP Cebu created the artworks in the different floors. They had their internship here, and they were also, of course, compensated. And they studied about the Visayan history, Cebu history, and heritage. And the theme for that room is Maria Cacao. So this is her depiction. This is from Shari Paklipan, and this is her depiction of Maria Cacao. She's very beautiful in that image. So thank you very much, everyone. So wala pa did you already write hashtag Visayan Folklore? And then we thank those who are on the different pages of our partners for joining us. And then of course, if you have we have Evangeline, Mythical Creatures, Mitsuha May Briguli, Dili Ingonato, hashtag Dili Ingonato, Mary Russell, we have Evangeline and Kerwin, and we have also Patricia Bernido from Cebu Normal University. Thank you very much to the students and the teachers of the Cebu Normal University, especially to the Social Science Department, our partner in our event today, and also to all our partners. And so I know you are already excited to see our panelists, and of course, we would also be seeing in a while a glimpse of our cosplayers. But it is raining. Can we still show them even if it's raining? Can they still model and walk through the runway with the rain? And then so of course, when our ancestors in the past would pray for rain, right now our gods, our Anitos are very happy. We are blessed with rain right now. So our pre-colonial ancestors would always dance. Would even when the Santo Niño was already with them, they would bring it to the sea and they would submerge it in water for the Santo Niño to bring rain. So our ancestors always prayed for rain. Right now, it is raining. You are blessed with rain. So now, we would like to introduce our panelists first. We have our one of our panelists. He is with us for the first time. We are so happy. We're so honored that he is with us. He had been studying the culture of Visayas and Mindanao. He also has a paper on Cebu heroes, and also he has also he 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 grew up in Cebu. He spent his childhood in Cebu, and he is now a history faculty of the he is now a university history faculty of the University of the Philippines, Las Bañas. He got his master's in history at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and he is working for his doctoral in history also at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Please help me welcome our panelists, Cebuano at heart, Professor Jeffrey Asuncion. Please unmute.
Maayong hapon sa atong tanan. I'm Sir Jeffrey Asuncion. So, looking forward kanang sa atong discussion today sa Visayan folklore and mythology. Thank you.
Daghang salamat, Professor Jeffrey. So we thank Professor Jeffrey for having time for this event, even if he has so many speaking engagements. So thank you, Professor Jeffrey, for being with us. So and our second panelist is also our Suki resource person. She has been with us in already two discussions in two forums and webinars in our two blended events, and she has talked about the Santo Niño, and she has talked about also the fashion in precolonial Visayas, and so she is also the director of the University of San Carlos Center for Social Research and Education, and she is a professor of the Department of Anthropology, Sociology and History of the University of San Carlos. Please help me welcome Dr. Zona Saniel-Amper. Please unmute.
May hapon.
So daghang salamat, Dr. Zona, for being with us. So we will be having actually conversations with our panelists. So our panelists wouldn't be giving a long lecture, but there will be conversations with them in a while. So while you will be waiting for, we will be starting after you will see are our cosplayers already ready? So we would like you to have a glimpse of our cosplayers, and we would be actually pinning at the comment section, because the audience right now, you will also judge. They will be we would be introducing them to you right now, but after our conversations with our panelists, they would be explaining their costumes and their character. So that's the time that you would vote. But even right now, we would show them to you, and then we would also be pinning an online poll, because the audience will have a part in the judging. So we will actually have 3 judges. Our panelists will be judges of our cosplay contest, and you, our viewers, you would also be, your vote is also considered. It's the 3rd vote. So the one who would win the online poll is it is counted in the final judging. So we would be pinning on the comment section our cosplayers, but we have actually 12 in our online poll. We have 12 contestants, but we only have right now, the numbers are still the same, but there are only 7 here right now. So we would now so are we ready? Can we have the music, please? So we would like to have our cosplayers, the Visayan mythical creatures cosplayers. We have contestant number 1. Can we have, can you start? May we have our contestant our cosplayer number 1. Mayor, i-remove na ko. We have cosplayer number 1, Francis Valenzuela, and his character is Captain. And of course, Captain is an ancient Visayan god. Can you see how's our video? So we would we would have our, we wish to have a clearer video in a while later. So so our cosplayer number 5 with us right now, yes, we have 𝒐𝒐𝒏, our cosplayer number 5 with her character nagmalitong yawa. So mo ni ang yawa, mo ni ang gwapa nga yawa. So how's our video? We regret our problem in our video right now, but we would be trying to have a clearer video in a while. So we have our cosplayer number unsa nga number si 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐? We have our cosplayer 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐 or cosplayer number 8 first, Zona Saniel-Amper. Do we have cosplayer number 8, Zona Saniel-Amper, with tikbalang, with the character tikbalang? So we have our cosplayer playing tikbalang. That's number 8. And then we also have our cosplayer number 10, 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏, playing the character, and his character is Encantado. So we have our cosplayer number 10, 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏, with the character Encantado. So we pardon us for the not so clear video, but we are trying to fix this. So we have our cosplayer number 11, 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐, with her character Diwata. So we have our Diwata, 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐. So we have Krisha. In Diwata is of course a fairy, and there are so many kinds of Diwata. So we're trying our best to fix it. So and then of course cosplayer number 13 is 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐 with 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒏. 20, cosplayer number 20 is 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐. Wrong ning ako. So the cosplayer number 20 is number 13 is asa man dire? Duwende. So we have Duwende. Oh. So with of course the windy ears. Duwende, 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐, Duwende, contestant number 13. A cosplayer number 13. And then we have our last but not the least, cosplayer number 15. We have Ferdinand Azcárraga, Kapre. Kapre na agta. Same ra sila. So agta is Kapre. Kapre agta. So he has a tustos in Bisaya. He has a tobacco or tobacco, very big cigar with this is Ferdinand Azcárraga for number 15 for Kapre. So daghang salamat to our cosplayers. We hope to have a clearer video when we have our contest proper. So you already have, of course, we have a photo of them, right? Each one of them. Did someone take a photo for each one of them, because we need it, because our friends in the an online magazine in New York says, from Awesome magazine, said that they want to have the photos of our cosplayers. So so of course we have, thank you very much to Dennis Benico at the NQC page from Malabon. Thank you for watching. And then, of course, we have also from Patricia from we have Daniel Nino Paklihan, our Suki in our events, Gia Faye, Rosel, Karen, Justin, log ang video miss. Murag CCTV ang kuha. We're so sorry for this. We are trying to fix this. Can we fix it? Or do we change camera? Or what do you want? What do you think? So maybe you should change the camera, or if you need to change it, if if possible, so that we would have a no longer have a problem. So right now, so can someone do that, because we're starting our we are now starting our our discussion. May I have another phone to monitor the comments of the koan of our guests? So so right now we are fixing our koan our we are fixing our we are fixing our we are fixing our video for that cosplay contest. So we would like you to know that our discussion right now is we will be having conversations with our panelists. So we would have questions for them that they will answer, and then of course we welcome questions from the audience. We would be giving them your questions as we go along, and even your comments. So feel free to, and I am only looking at two pages, the National Quincentennial Committee page, and also the page of 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So please do write your comments and your questions at the comment section of both pages, the 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏, the Cebu Heritage Hotel page, and the National Quincentennial Committee page. Please fix this. So now we would like to have our first question to our event right now is about folklore, the Visayan folklore, the mythical creatures in Visayan in mythology. So now we would like to ask our panelists from the Department of Anthropology, Sociology, and History. We would like to have Dr. Zona Saniel-Amper.
So folklore, if we talk about folklore, there are really a lot of definitions, and it depends on the perspective. Like for example, if you look at from the literary perspective, they have a different perspective.
We will
And then
show
if
her.
you look at the anthropology perspective, it's broader. But I tried to mix the descriptions from various points of
Next
view,
slide.
and I came up with the definition in general based on the different perspectives. That folklore is a form of aesthetic expression in culture, and then this includes myths, legends, tales, proverbs, riddles, texts of songs, which have been transmitted orally from generation to generation. So, orally, originally, that's really part of the definition, but later on, we can see that there are other ways of transmitting already, especially nowadays when the oral tradition has dwindled. So, from this definition, we can see that the narrator is also important. So, for example, earlier, our host said that her father told them the stories, etc. So, maybe from the father's point of view, it's like this. But for example, if the same story is told by another narrator, another father, or from the Lola or whatever, So there are really a lot of versions because it's orally transmitted. So you might wonder, why is it that we have different versions of one story? So that's really part of what culture is all about. Mo na to siya.
Dr. Zona. So actually remove na nato. So Dr. Zona, actually my father told me that he also got his story from his actually uh, grandparents. So, so when they were also young, when my father was also young, they were also told stories by their grandparents. So of course, so for every time that story is being passed, so there would be embellishment, right? Or it would be a new story because he did not have actually paper to read from. So he was just telling the story from his head. So that's how folklores are being passed.
Yeah.
So yes, so
That's
folklores,
why there are a lot of versions. And
yes,
then another thing is, like for example, we're talking about Visayan folklore.
yes.
Can we really say that it's purely Visayan, or maybe it has been influenced because someone transmitted this story to another one, and then even our stories in the Visayas have already gone to Mindanao, have already gone to Luzon, etc. So that's why we can see a lot of similarities, although there are also some differences.
Yes. So now please tell us about examples of what are examples of Visayan folklore?
Okay, so examples, as what you have shown earlier about Maria Cacao. That's one legend that has been told and retold, and there are a lot of versions already, no, of the Maria Cacao legend. But generally, it's known that she was Diwata who lived in Mount Lantoy in Argao. Because I'm from Argao, the story that I heard is the Argao version, which my grandmother also told me. So Mount Lantoy is actually a mountain in Argao, and then it's said to be there's a cave there, and Maria Cacao lives there, etc., etc. And then she has a boat, and then every time there's something wrong with one of the bridges, they will say, niagi ang barko ni Maria Cacao. So that's one popular legend in here in Cebu. And I don't know if it's also in other places. And then there are also, when we say Visayan folklore, there are a lot also of origin myths, like the origin of the chocolate hills, or the origin of this thing and that flower or that plant, or etc., etc. So we also have versions of that, and even the names of places. How come this place is named like Kambinukot? What is Binukot? Binukot is like a princess who is anak ba? So we have a lot of origin myths, and we cannot really tell everything here, no? So and then another thing, aside from the legends and then the origin myths, there are also stories about mythical creatures. So mythical creatures, some are considered good and harmless and even helpful, but there are also some mythical creatures that are considered evil and harmful. So these are examples of folklore here in the Visayas that has been told to children from one generation to the next.
So
Okay.
may you discuss some popular examples, characters of some characters in the Visayan folklore?
Okay. So popular. Even our cosplayers earlier who were called, those were actually some of the popular ones. So first one, just like Maria Cacao, Diwata. So the Diwata is actually gods and goddesses which have individual personalities and names. So they may differ from one place to another. And they're generally described as benevolent or neutral, and they could be approached ritually for good crops, health, and fortune. So, for example, Maria Cacao was said to be very generous. She lent different utensils and different things to people who asked. No? And then, but if they are shown disrespect, or they are abused, or uh, they're not shown enough respect by people, then they could also cause illnesses or misfortune. So they could cause people to become sick, etc. If you don't show them respect. So we were told, actually, if our grandparents in the past, they tell us, you have to respect this, you should show respect. You say tabi, you don't just enter directly, you ask permission. So that's one. So that's very common, and we have a lot of diwata, different names for different places. So another one is, so those are that is one of the popular. And then another one, and a cosplayer was also depicting this one, the agta. So I chose to use the term agta because we're talking about Visayan folklore, but it has a counterpart in Tagalog, the kapre. But agta is a gigantic individual, black, and then smoking tobacco, tostos, no? On top of a tree. So living in big trees, like for example the lakit, or in Tagalog balete. So they are considered, but even if they're large and black, they are still considered gentle and harmless. So they do not harm humans actually. They're just big and they're just dark. But they don't do you any harm, except if you do them harm. So like for example, you cut down the tree that he is living in, masuko si George. So so in the rural areas, some of the contemporary older people, they call the agta George. And even in Karkar, when we pass this acacia trees, and then the signal on your cell phone, or your data suddenly gets lost, and then they say, gigamit ni George ang data kay naay daghang acacia. So if you do them harm, so they may also do you harm. And then sometimes they also like to play tricks on humans. Binuang ba, binuang. Pero actually, they're not that harmful, no? So popular sana siya. We can say mga salida sa TV or sa movies nga who depict kani mga agta.
So, Dr. Zona, you said
Yes.
that AGTA is being blamed for the no signal because there are so many trees when you pass by. So that means the AGTA now in Argao also uses this data and cell phone mobile.
Also in Karkar.
So the next character is
Another popular one is Duende, and then I think a cosplayer also depicted the Duende. So Duende is the midget, so opposite of Agta. The Agta is big, the Duende is small. But the term Duende is actually from Spanish already. I don't know the original term actually. So it's a midget person, so mubo, pero playful ni sila. They're said to be playful, and they also may play tricks on people whom they do not like. But if they like you, they just want to play with you. So I have heard stories from my grandparents on duwende that lived in their house daw nga. Ganang nagsira daw og duwa. So magduwa ra gyud na sila. Pero if you do them harm, just like the agta, they may also do you harm, no? So kana very popular in Visayan folklore, and even non-Visayan folklore. So mga popular ra ni ato ang istorya. I'm not saying that kanang maoro jud ni siya. So mo to siya, mo to duwende. Yeah, another popular kanang unsa ni kanang character from Visayan folklore kanang unglo or ungo naman na ron no kay Cebu City syudad mawa man ang L kanang pero sa Argao na may L so unglo and even in the south and even nilabang na sa Dumaguete ano or even in Bohol the L is still there but in Cebu City syudad lagi ko no mo nang ungo na lang. So it's described as dark, ghost-like creatures who wander around at night. So unlike the Diwata and the Agta and the Duwende who are generally harmless, this Ongo is said to attack children who are still outside at night. So mo gyud ni panghadlok pero may nay ungo riya ngano mo gawas ka nay ungo ana no so popular kini siya nga karakter in many stories and daghan sa ni siya version na uban nga dili ani ang ko ano by the way kani mga picture kinuha ra ni nako these are not mine. I did not take these pictures. Okay, so kana so that's one of the popular characters who are relatively kanang said to be evil or harmful. So another one is kani aswang. So nay aswang nga mga stories sa Tagalog, na po aswang diri nga stories in the Visayas. Wa na ta kabaw asa joy gaunaan ni pero popular sad ni sila no. They are said to eat human flesh and their favorite part of humans is atay. So the liver ko no so mo nang naay ganahan mo ka og atay aswang ka. Kanang mo ko na favorite part sa aswang kanang liver ko no so bisag even if the person is already dead or still living pwede siyang kuan kaunon sa aswang based on the folklore of course and then another evil or harmful character popular also is the wakwak. Sometimes kanang there are versions nga ang wakwak kuno mura ra siya bird pero napoy version nga ang wakwak kanang mura siya human pero mulupad pero napoy version katong manananggal kana bitaw mo half ang lawas unsa ni mulupad basta kay mulupad na siya ma-bird man siya ma-human ba siya or half it flies kuno it flies around niya. The term wakwak is actually from the sound of the wings no nga kanang inigtingog na gyud ana nga lanay wakwak. Yeah,
so the sound of the wings is wak wak.
Wak
It
wak.
flaps its wings, it would sound like wak wak.
Marag ana.
So
Mo
that's
nang kana di ba mo nay golf course nga wak wak. Ang sound po to sa golf club wak wak ana. Pero kani ang wak dire kay ang wings.
Yes.
O niya mo sak ko na is like blood sa kanang mga ang paborito sa nila bata. So their favorite source of blood are children and pregnant women. Pero of course there are a lot of versions. As I have said, there are a lot of versions of the story. We cannot claim that this is the original version or this is the correct version because as what we have defined, folklore is transmitted orally and it's done from one generation to the next and it's even brought around from different places. So we cannot say nga sa kuan ra gyud ni siya sa Cebu ra gyud ni or sa Bohol ra gyud ni or sa ana no. So another one is kanay mga popular gyapon popular character kani Sigbin. Ambot kaning Sigbin murag Visayas gid siguro ni siyang Sigbin kay ko kadungog og Sigbin nga term sa kanang mga TV shows bitaw nga depicting mythical creatures. Ya kaning Sigbin paghadlok sa ni siya just like ungo, aswang, wakwak. Sigbin is said to be dog-like or kangaroo-like. Mura siya mix siya, mura siya creature nga murag sagol iro, sagol kangaroo. So sagol dog and kangaroo. And then they appear at night in dark places. And then they're said to suck blood of their victims through their shadow. So, ambot I recall sa unang panahon sa pagkabata na mo, hadlokon gid mi nga ala mo patong na ganig alas 6 mo gawas na gid ang sigbin diha sa kuan sa kanang kilid sa simbahan pag yun sa kilid sa simbahan. So di
So,
na dapat ko na mo
Dr.
adto.
Sola, so our some of our audience they already have questions. So we have our audience from Malabon, from Laguna. So I'm not sure if they understand Cebuano, but I think they can already understand the context. But anyway,
Okay.
they already have questions like as we go along, there is a question already regarding the sigbin.
Okay.
And then also there is a question regarding the wakwak, but maybe I could ask the questions after you discuss all the
Yeah.
characters. Okay,
Yeah.
sige.
So sigbin kanino murag sometimes there are versions of the story nga pet daw ni siya. The sigbin is a pet of the of the ongo or etc. Pero there are also versions that the sigbin is just a sigbin, not a pet of any other creature. And then same thing, it's considered harmful, and it's usually used to instill fear, no, among children. So another popular, so this time, the folklore, popular characters in Visayan folklore are not just in the mountains or in the dry land. There are also folklore talking about these mythical creatures. This time sa in the sea or dagat, and then kataw uh, in general, and then sirena and also ukoy. In Tagalog, it's shokoy. Sirena is also sirena in Tagalog. I don't know kataw if they have a term also in Tagalog. So they are said to rule the ocean, and they are the ones who protect its resources, and then they can lure or abduct people to their kingdom under the sea. Under the sea, kung ano si Ariel. So
Mermaid.
even outside, no, outside the Philippines, they also have versions of such folklore. So we cannot really say that we are the only ones having this type of stories, etc. So mo na siya. And then another one nga uh, dagat sad siya, sea-based creature is the udto-udto, but I don't know, it's not very popular, but for me as a child, we were told not to go swimming in the sea at noontime because supposedly this udto-udto will come out, and it's from the deep ocean, and then it will just come to the shore to look for children who are still swimming in the sea uh, at noontime. So we were really afraid to go swimming at noontime during, of course, during that time. And then now that we're older, we don't believe it anymore because we haven't seen it actually. But there are also stories about that. So these are just a few examples of the popular ones. We also have a lot of the less popular, or those that have not maybe not been transmitted by the elder generations anymore. So I think that's it.
You have also mythical creatures also, I mean the gods and goddesses.
Yeah. So acto now na ni or
Yes.
later?
Or
Now na
later.
ni siya?
Okay.
Later na lang.
Sige, I'll just before that, before you discuss that, I would mention to you the questions from our audience. So from the
Yeah.
National Quincentennial Committee page, so we have Henry Colina Itok, and his question is about Bisaya people, or his comment. Bisaya people categorize diwende as itom nga diwende and puti nga diwende. So the black diwende and the white diwende. So that's the itom nga diwende is black in color and puti nga diwindi is white in color. So is it when they say itim
It's actually not the color. When we say black, it's related to being like evil or harmful. When we say white, it's related to being good and harmless. So it's not really the color of the duende, but it's the actuation. No, so
so
sometimes maybe the same duende becomes white or becomes black, but there are others um, uh, that are really black and that are really white. So
so the
that's it.
duende.
It's not actually the color.
So we have this is now a color discrimination because black is beautiful supposedly, but it's equated with evil. so, so so is this now a new version? Is this now part of the colonial mentality of assigning a color to evil? What is
Yeah,
evil and what is
maybe that came later.
yes?
We don't
So there
really
is
know the original story.
yes. So there is also a question from there is a comment from Janelle Rosari. Binuhi daw. The sigbin is this is a comment from your discussion that the sigbin is a pet of the ungo or the ungo. What is the English of ungo? Which is it ungo is a what's an ungo in English? Then, so there is also a comment from John Elton. Pregnant women smells like jackfruit according to them, according to the folklore. To the wakwak. Is it the wakwak who wants to? It is the wakwak, right? That is attributed to being um, who wants the pregnant women's babies.
uh,
So, according to this, to a comment that for the wakwak, the pregnant women smells like jackfruit. So,
maybe
so
that's the version that's the
another
version of
version.
the story.
Sige. So now, we would now like to ask you about that. Actually, nalubong na. It is buried. The other questions and comments were already. I cannot already see them. So anyway, we would now like to ask you about the gods and goddesses of pre-colonial Visayas.
So I'll continue. I
Yes.
thought we will already go to Maria Cacao.
Yeah.
So
No.
in pre-colonial times, so we can really trace back all this folklore and stories. Why is it that this came out? No, why is it that there are such stories? We can trace it back to pre-colonial times. So as what our host has said earlier, pre-colonial Visayas. So in pre-colonial times, the Visayans worship nature spirits or those natural forces that are in celestial bodies like the sun or the moon or the star or the flowing waters of the river, etc., etc. So these are nature spirits. They are personified and they are revered and worshipped. No, so the spirits that are in nature. And then there are also gods and goddesses in particular localities or for particular activities. So they are called diwata. So the gods and goddesses, like for example, there's a god attributed to this place or to this activity for harvest, for etc. etc. And another thing that the pre-colonial Visayans worshipped were the spirits of their ancestors, which they called umalagad. So you can see we have a lot of beliefs, no? We believed in nature spirits, we believed in gods and goddesses, we believed in the spirits of our ancestors. So um, if we, sige, kadto siya.
Sige.
Murag naman ni sunod siguro, murag na sunod ani.
Yes. So later
So these
na.
are
Later.
later na ni siya.
Sige, later
So
na lang.
these are
We'll
examples. So
go back
actually
to
in
that.
pre-colonial times, we can say that we have all these beliefs. So that's why these beliefs are being translated into stories, into folklore, so that it can be told to, especially to young children. So we learn from the stories. So it's part of entertainment. It's also part of learning. Okay.
Yes. So there is a comment from Unbeloved Crown, and then she says that from Tagalog comics, ang wakwak is also the manananggal that eats the fetus from the mother's womb mismo, and their dila or their tongue can be as thin as thread and will come from the roof or ceiling, and it would uh so that's it would hunt for the fetus. So that's the story. So that is this is now a
Yeah.
modern version. This is now a modern
Uh,
version.
um, I think there's also a version like that. No, but I don't know if it's Visayan, it's Tagalog or whatever. But there is also a version like that, and sometimes they're called tik tik. Also tik tik, the long tongue looking
Yes.
for the fetus.
So
So yeah.
someone was asking about kikik, and it is in southern Leyte. Kikik and hatot or jatot, jatot and kikik.
Uh,
So this is another
Another
term
again.
for
Yeah.
wakwak. So Dr.
Kikik.
Zona, so we would like everyone to know that Dr. Zona is this is her. She has a class on Visayan folklore right now. So and then she says that the references are from Barangay of William Henry Scott. And we also have that book here at Palmgrass the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So
That's only one of the sources.
yes,
There
one
are
of the
others.
references, other references. Dr. Sona, I remember the account of 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐. He was actually describing a burial of a chief. That after that, of course, the women were the ones who facilitated who facilitated the burial of the chief. Then he was telling about a bird that like that has a sound that is on top of the houses. So maybe this is a kind of bird. So is wakwak a bird?
Yeah, there's also a version that wakwak is a bird.
Okay. So there are more questions for Dr. Zona in a while. Now we would like to have our panelist from UP Los Baños. We have a question for Professor Professor Jeffrey Asuncion regarding Visayan mythology. Of course, myths are part of folklore. So, Professor Jeffrey, may you tell us about the Visayan mythology?
Okay, maayong hapon. All right. Okay, Visayan mythology, just like other folk narratives, no? So it involves explanations at the creation of the world, no? And also the how humans, no, the first man and woman were created. So that was the case, no, in the narrative on Silalak and Sikabay. So based sa article ni Francisco Demetrio, there were three versions, no, about sa explanation of the creation of Silalak and Sikabay. But basically, it is being narrated that they came from a bamboo or a grass reed, no? And then it was opened, and then both came out of the reed. So it means that mythology or tales like this reveal that Asian Filipinos, especially ancient Visayans, have their own explanations and reflect their own circumstances. No, in the case of the bamboo breaking motif, it reflects the presence of bamboos and other natural phenomenon. Now, before proceeding further, I use here the term Visayan mythology because what I understand, no, but probably I can research on it further pa, no. Visayan mythology in pre-Hispanic times encompasses the groups in the Visayas, no, na what we call right now, like for example, the Cebuanos, the Bolanons, the Panayanons, no, Iligaynons, Negrenses, the Samarnons and Leytenons, no. But it appears that until now, based on the comments that we can read, no, that there are still similarities, no, in the myths, folktales, legends, and other forms of narratives. Second, we can also discuss about Laon. Laon is the pre-Hispanic god, no? And some say, according to Scott, no, he is the Laon is the main deity, no? If I understand correctly the concept, he's the main deity of the Visayans, and as I understand, it is from him or her that that the mountain in Negros was named after, no? Canlaon, or it is for Laon, no? Canlaon. Third is Diwatas. So I think it was mentioned by Dr. Amper kanina. The Diwatas are the spirits, no, or the sort of spirits or goddesses, and it is not only among the Visayans, no. Diwatas were also present among the other communities or ethnic groups in the Philippines. They reside in various places, no, and they represent the belief that these are sacred places. And finally, Mount Majaas, although this is not for masyado for Cebuanos, but in the Visayan mythology as a whole, Mount Majaas is in Panay. It's the sacred mountain, no? And according to William Henry Scott, the souls of the dead, especially among those who were considered as the brave and the good, were being brought to the peak of Mount Majaas, which is somewhere in Antique and Iloilo, if I'm not mistaken. So here's these are some, no? These are some of the details of Visayan mythology, and actually there are many more, no? Not only mythology, folk tales like Maria Cacao, which we have discussed earlier, and which we shall discuss also further later.
Yes. So, Professor Jeffrey, so mythology, so the story of creation, for example, in the Visayas. So, may you discuss further about the story of how the Visayas was formed according to the myths?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that question. The one narrative that I've heard is there was the clashing of the waves, no? Waves and the sea. And then also the bird, no? There's also this giant bird who threw rocks, no, from her beak. And out of those rocks, some of these islands were formed, no? Most especially Negros. I would love to further look, no, how Cebu itself was created, as explained by mythological narratives or folk tales, no.
So, what was said about the man and the woman being like si Lalak and si Kabay, that were born, they were actually formed simultaneously, unlike the of course what's in the Bible, that the man was first formed. So this is a more it is more gender fair myth on on creation, right? On how humans were created.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So,
Actually, it's a very it's a reading that has basis, no. It really appears, no, it shows that the Asian Filipinos are more gender sensitive, no. And anthropologists and other historians have said that the communities in pre-Hispanic Southeast Asia, pre-Hispanic Philippines in particular, are matriarchal or matrilineal, no? So it means that more premium or more respect or more emphasis is given to the role of mothers and other female members of the family, and this reflects in myths. Now, let me add po, no, myths and folk tales are reflections, especially those of myths that were conceptualized long before the arrival of the Europeans. These are being handed in time explained. There are details that have been adjusted, modified through time, no? But they reflect certain beliefs or concepts in a culture that these people treasure and would accept as part and parcel of their lives and their societies.
But thank you very much, Professor Jeffrey. So now, before we go to your next question, there is a slide from Dr. Zona that she wants to share about her. May we have Dr. Zona for her slide on the examples of the diwata in precolonial Visayas. May we show it, please? So, Dr. Zona.
Okay, so this is based on the book Barangay, no, and it's based on Father Alcina. It's a mixture of kanang of what they heard when they came to the Visayas when the Spaniards came, because as we know, it's really the Spaniards who chronicled all these things. So it's from their own version of what they heard. So these are just some. I'm not saying that these are all, because also from the book, they said that the Visayans considered themselves outnumbered by the spirits and the gods and the goddesses. So these are just some. So Laon was said to be the principal and superior god, but there were also some discussions that Laon is just one of the gods in Negros. That's why it's Mount Canlaon. So it's Laon's mountain. But this is also, there are also different versions from different writers. And then another one, Dapa, is Diwata who marked out one's mortal lifespan on a tree trunk on Mount 𝒪𝒑𝒂𝒄. So Mount 𝒪𝒑𝒂𝒄 was mentioned by Professor Jeffrey earlier, where the souls were said to be taken after the people's souls were taken there. And then Magwayen was the one, the Diwata, who took the souls of the deceased across to a kind of inferno. So if di maayo ato sa hell, no? But of course, you can see the perspective of the Spaniards already in the description. So Pandake was said to rescue the deserving for a more pleasant fate. So dili dadon sa impierno ni Pandake, dadon niya sa lahi. And then Lalahon was a fire-breathing goddess of Mount Canlaon who could be invoked for good crops but who sent out swarms of locusts if angered. And then Inaginid and Malandok were invoked for success in battle and plunder. And then we have Naginid, Arapayan, Makbarobak could also be appealed to when concocting poisonous oil. And then Makaptan was said to live in the highest heavens. So these are just examples of the Diwata as mentioned by the Spanish writers or chroniclers who came to the Visayas, and they heard about this Diwata that were believed in by the pre-colonial Visayans.
Okay. So, daghang salamat, Dr. Zona. So, there are actually questions for you. So, I would like to request, even if you are in the smoking area, but I can't actually bear. So, anyway, so there is a question regarding a mythical creature that steals corpse from an unattended coffin.
Oh, yes.
Is for example, excuse us, Dr. Zona, may we have a fan here so that the smoke can go there? So we have already a kanang palina here. So nanay nagpalina, so so anyway, so there is a question regarding the mythical creature that steals corpse from the unattended coffin. So to everyone on
that's
Facebook
also
Live, continue commenting your question. Sige, Dr. Zona.
Yeah, there's also that story. That's why we can link actually the beliefs, the stories, and the rituals. So that's why if you notice, our practice is really not to leave the coffin unattended of a dead person. So there's always even just one person who is not asleep nga either nagduwag baraha or kanang wala lang nag-chill-chill lang basta kay di matog. So even one person who's not asleep is really assigned to stay there so that the corpse will not be stolen by this creature. I don't know the name actually. Nakalimot ko kung sa to ang kuan. I've read it somewhere. And then that's why kabantay ta nga, di ba, there are negative comments nga. Why is it that people gamble during the wake of a person? Actually, that's if we look at that practice from way back, it's actually a practice so that people will stay awake and so the corpse will not be taken away. So ambot sa in the Visayas that's the case, but in other places I think that's also the case because when we went to somewhere in Rizal, mas grabe gyud dito kay mag-concert gyud, kanta gyud nga dili para sa patay, kanta gyud nga kanang saba kay ba kay kuno they believe daw nga you have to make noise so that all these spirits will stay away. They will know that you are awake and so they cannot take the corpse away from the coffin.
So maybe that's because our ancestors really, the Visayans really give high regard for the dead and also for our elders, right? So even
because they believed in the spirits of their ancestors.
yes,
So we really
so that's
believe
why
that they have
shouldn't
spirits.
be stolen or something like the corpse
Yeah.
shouldn't be stolen. So there's a question from Gino Paradela. The mythology of the heroic dead going home to the realm of the ancestors features prominently in most world mythologies. Usually even the good afterlife was only for the heroic dead. So that's the comment from Gino. So thank you very much, Dr. Zona. So we will have more questions for you in a while. And of course, Dr. Zona was saying about the Sikbin, and other mythical creatures and the gods and goddesses. I would like to show you that here at Palmgrass, the Cebuano children have written their version of our hero Leon Kilat, si Leon Kilat ug ang Sikbin. Nga, this is the Leon Kilat and the Sikbin as told by Cebuano children. And this is available at Palmgrass Basahanan ni Lumaya. And you can get hold of this and read the creativity of these children who made the story about who connected the folklore to the story of our hero Leon Kilat. So this is si Leon Kilat ug ang Sikbin. Of course here the Sikbin became a pet and someone who partnered with Leon Kilat, who protected Leon Kilat as he fought against the Spaniards. So this is si Leon Kilat na nagsigbin. So now, we would now like to ask again Professor Jeffrey regarding another character in Visayan folklore or even in the Visayas, Yawa. So, Professor Jeffrey, would you tell us about Yawa? What is Yawa?
Okay, ang Yawa, before I've always heard about Yawa, no? Kanang Yawa is a part of an expression whenever one is surprised, no, or sometimes a bit angry. So we all know about that phrase, no, especially among the Visayans, Cebuanos. Now, I have read about the explanations about it in William Henry Scott's book on the barangay, and then I've heard some other explanations about the Yawa. According to William Henry Scott, the Yawa was a general term for demons. So remember, we have many spirits or demons being believed in, by our ancestors. But when the Spaniards arrived, many Cebuanos, Visayans were converted to Catholicism or Christianity. The term was appropriated or borrowed, not only for demons, but this was applied for non-Christians. So there was this sort of labeling or semantic reappropriation, change of meaning, no? Gigamit sa ubang silbi in order to categorize or label people who either followed the Catholic faith or chose not to comply. Now, although there were other explanations, but this explanation can further be involved, further explained, no? But I came across an explanation before that said, or that to the effect had narrated that the term Yawa was originally for a forest god of the ancient Visayans, but with the arrival of the Spaniards, the worship of forest gods, no, like the Yawa or other deities, was gradually pushed to the sidelines, no? In fact, it was forbidden during the Spanish period. And what was once a common practice, became forbidden, and eventually Yawa was literally demonized. I'm not sure how true is that explanation, or to what effect or to what extent was that explanation true for many parts of the Visayas. But these are the two explanations about the term. And hence, it has become a common phrase, no? Moving forward from the traditional or pre-Hispanic context, it has become part of the colloquial phraseology, no? Colloquial phrases of the Filipinos, no? Especially among the Visayans, no? So there was discontinuity of terms, but the context has changed.
So, Professor Jeffrey, this means that Yawa is actually, we have a cosplayer here right now who is portraying Yawa, which is a diwata or a goddess.
Yes.
So, before the Spaniards came, Yawa was one of the diwata or one of the goddesses. But then, before they came, it was one of the it was a goddess or a diwata. But then, when the Spaniards came, they now refer to demons, or the Bisaya word now for the devil is now Yawa. So in Cebu right now, or in the Visayas, in Mindanao, when you hear ikaw Yawa ka, so you are a devil. So even in the Bible, Yawa is the devil.
Yes.
So of course, Yawa, according to you, and so of course in some folklore, that Yawa was a diwata or a goddess in the Visayas, and when the Spaniards came, they now named the devil as Yawa. So now we would now like to. So I guess there are so many reactions from our audience. So there is a reaction from Kerwin. Ang Kerwin Banaag Byongkog, ang Yawa nga word is a very versatile word. The Yawa word is a very versatile word. So there is a question from Henry Colina Itok: is Yawa a male or a female? So our cosplayer here portrayed Yawa as a goddess, so a diwata. So are diwatas, Professor Jeffrey, are diwatas all female or female and male?
They are mainly female, no? So as I mentioned a while ago, that the ancient Filipino culture, no, the pre-Hispanic societies of the Visayas and other Filipinos are matriarchal or matrilineal. So it's not surprising that the gods or the deities or the diwatas are also female. So it reflects, no? So there are other explanations na kanang these deities, these diwatas are in some ways are caring or sometimes punitive, and it reflects also the nature of the people during that period.
Yeah. So now we go to another female character in Visayan folklore. So tell us about the 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒕𝒂 story. Tell us more about it. And now you are also, of course, there are about related folk tales in other parts of the archipelago. So please tell us about this.
Okay. Dr. Amper had mentioned about Maria Cacao a while ago, no, and then it was also cited. Now, Maria Cacao is a folk tale which is based in Argao, but there's also another version which I had also encountered in a document. There's also another version in Dalaget, no, Dalaget, Cebu.
Dalaget.
Dalaget, yes. What happened was in the narrative, she's a provider, no? She's a provider of various goods like cacao and other needed materials, no, or materials needed by the people. And there's also this golden ship, no, this golden ship. Now, as emphasized by Dr. Erlinda Alburo and Dr. Rasil Mujares, there's this connectivity between or similarities, no? There's this similarities between the Maria Cacao tales of Cebu with the Maria Makiling tales in Laguna and the Mariang Sinukuan tales of Pampanga in Mount Arayat. So what appears here is what is evident is they are deities or gods, goddesses or diwatas who are known, no, who are known for helping people in need, for being being generous to people, to being kind, and they live in mountains. But unlike Mariang Makiling or Mariang Sinukuan, Maria Cacao has an added motive, no, the motive of the golden boat, which according to Dr. Alburo, there was this version that it is traveling towards parts of Visayas or northern Mindanao or wherever the Cebuanos have migrated, no? So this reflects also the migratory nature of Cebuanos, especially during the recent decades or centuries. Second, it also reflects, no, the maritime culture or the maritime nature of the Asian Filipinos, especially Cebuanos. Now, the version in Dalaget, which I had seen or encountered in a historical data paper, the general narrative was there was this young lady or maiden. She was abducted by some spirit and she was brought to the forest, and then eventually she acquired powers, no, and then hence she became the noted Diwata. So these are some of the details, no, and she's very interesting actually because unlike the other two Marias, the narrative of Maria Cacao has the most number of changes, no, adjusted to the times. There was this golden ship, and I just browsed to the internet a while ago. There was this opinion piece by anthropologist Dr. Michael Tan, no, of UP Diliman. She mentioned that variations of the Maria Cacao tale also appeared, no, in Iligan after the Typhoon Sendong devastated the area, and probably in other parts of Eastern Visayas after the Yolanda tragedy, no. So what appears here that the tale is very vital, is very flexible, and is very transmissible up to the present. So this is a very interesting and tale. So these are some details.
Yes. So Professor Jeffrey, there are already questions for you about Yawa, but before that, I would also like to share that here at Palmgrass we have this. We have launched this story coloring book by Joshua Cabrera. This is a commission to him by the NCCA, Maria Cacao. May we show again, Professor Jeffrey? Lisod bakitan, diri na lang, diri. So actually, this is the actually they had a hard time when they made this story. Not really a hard time because this is a coloring storybook. And then they gathered about more than 60 versions of the Maria Cacao story, and they chose only one, or I guess they joined some. So this is the version that they got, and this version is the Maria Cacao was in the Mount Plantoy in Argao, and of course Maria Cacao was very beautiful, of course. And then Maria Cacao was also she had a cacao plantation, and she had a galleon where she would bring the cacao to the different places in the world. So and then because her galleon was so high, and then it would actually it would actually destroy the bridge. And that's why an engineer came and told Maria Cacao to alert to not already for her galleon not already to pass the bridge. After that, of course, with also with the things for weddings that she lent, the people borrowed and did not return. So Maria Cacao was no longer seen. So I said, Maria Cacao said, I just left. Guapa ko. So, can I, Maria Cacao, do you know the story, Professor Jeffrey, about, it's actually a joke here in Cebu, in the Visayas, that uh, there is of course, a celebrity here who said that when a boyfriend broke up with her, she said, I just left. Guapa ko. I just left. I'm beautiful. I just left. So of course Maria Cacao, when Maria Cacao, we said during the book launch, when Maria Cacao was told by the engineer not already to pass, so she just left because she's guapa. So anyway, so there is a question for you regarding there is a comment from Janelle Rosary. She said that the Maria Cacao story is very popular in Bohol, even in Bohol, and she also lives in a place named Makaban, and she would also let the people borrow wedding dress, gold utensils. It's common. This is a common, like Maria Makiling is the same thing. And then she also has a golden ship. So it's the same thing as the Maria Cacao in Argao. The Maria Cacao in Bohol is the same in Anabanga. But the people also did not return the things. That's why she left. So it's the same. It's the same story in Argao and of course in Laguna, right? Maria Makiling. It's the same story. But of course, the Maria Makiling has no galleon. She has no galleon only, and then she has no cacao. She has no, because there's no cacao in Laguna. They are only bukupay. Joke. And then so there is a question for you regarding yawa before we go to another question. So there is a question from Henry Colina Itok. Is yawa a male or a female? Oh, we have already answered that, right? There is another question. According to Silda Bacanto, the expression for us, yawa means satanas or demon. It's an expression of the Visayans that yawa is demon or satanas. So that's it. So we will have more questions for you in a while, Professor Jeffrey. So now we would like to show you this aside from, so you can actually have you can get hold of this book, this beautiful coloring storybook at Palmgrass Basahanan ni Lumaya. So the kids can have fun making colors and learning about our folk stories in this book. And they also have Joshua Cabrera, the artist. He is also our artist in our Galleria Independencia, in our wall art. You would know the history of Cebu in that wall art by Joshua Cabrera. So she has her version of the Maria Cacao. So her Maria Cacao, his Maria Cacao, Joshua Cabrera's Maria Cacao, is not like the Maria Cacao with like the fairies, like the Greek goddesses, but the Maria Cacao of Joshua Cabrera has asarok. Because, of course, why asarok? Because this is the native headdress of Cebuanos. So this is what sarok was what Juana, the wife of Humabon, wore when she was baptized. And of course, here in Joshua Cabrera's Maria Cacao, she is wearing hablon. So hablon is the fabric of Argao, woven through the traditional looms. So at Palmgrass, we also have hablon here. You can also get hold of hablon items here at Palmgrass. Sinugatan gifts from Cebu. So this is for us to support our traditional, our women weavers in Argao who are still making, who are still weaving this fabric traditionally with looms. So there are items here with hablon here at Palmgrass. And of course, another item that, of course, Maria Cacao has cacao at tablia. Our bestseller here at Palmgrass is our tablia cake. And we are also selling, also, of course, the tablia, which is being processed, prepared by this is prepared by our Kapihan ni Lumaya chefs. So they roasted it and also molded this. And this is pure tablia that makes our tablia cake very yummy here at Palmgrass. So now we have another question. We have a question for Dr. Zona. So there are still, we see more comments from our audience. Thank you very much and then we would like to remind you that we have our trivia quiz after the discussion and after the cosplay contest. Stay tuned for the trivia quiz where you will win our massage service here at Palmgrass. So if you listened well to the discussion of to the conversations with our panelists, you would be able to answer the questions in a while. So stay tuned for those questions. So we have also a comment from Dennis Sidogis Benico. During low tide, the river has no water, but then but when the enchanted Maria Cacao will deliver her cacao, the water would rise up from uphill going down. So he also shares about Maria Sinukuan in Mount Arayat. Until now, a group of Visayans at the foot of the Mount Arayat honors Dr. Rizal, led by the enchanted Maria Sinukuan. So that's it. So now we have another question for we have this comment also from Iligan, from Marining about abot pod ang story ni Maria Cacao in Iligan. So there is also a Maria Cacao in Iligan. So there is a version of the Maria Cacao in Iligan because we all drink 𝒐𝒂𝒕, right? We all love tablia and 𝒐𝒂𝒕 and cacao. And there is 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐 Balasa says, is there a connection between the word kuyawa and yawa? Kuyaw is fierce, or it's scary. Kuyaw, fierce, scary, and yawa. Oh, of course, a yawa is always kuyaw. Yawa is always scary right now. So there is a comment there is a question from 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐. So Dr. Zona, may we already show Dr. Zona, and also there is a question regarding I just wanted to know if there were similarities between the Visayan mythology and Hindu mythology. I see that Tikbalang and Hindu god 𝒤𝒗𝒃 is very similar. May we also have Professor Jeffrey, if he can answer this question. May we show the question? Can you click it? And then the question is from Francis Keith Romero. No, from Francis Keith Romero, the question is, I see the first question. I see from CM, I know it's from CM first. I just wanted to know the similarity, 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐. I just wanted to know the similarities between Visayan mythology and Hindu mythology, I see that the Tikbalang and the Hindu god is very similar. Who would like to answer this? So, Dr. Sona, would you like to say anything about this?
Uh,
We
as I have,
already.
as I have said earlier, there are really a lot of versions, and it cuts and it crosses different societies. So maybe because we also had um, past trade relations with these societies, maybe also the stories have also been um, brought to at one time or another to our local societies. And actually, if we look at how folklore goes from one society to another, it's actually like the spread of a certain product also, wherein it depends on people whether they accept it or they reject it. So that's why we hear stories all over, different versions, because people accepted this story and then they made their own versions. And there are also others that have been there in the past but are no longer being told now. So maybe the next generations did not see any, like they did not want this story anymore. So it's actually a matter of acceptance or rejection, and then putting your own flavor into it. So that could be a good topic for further research.
So, si Professor Jeffrey, can you say something about that question? May you say something?
Yes. There's a possibility no kanang relation between Visayan mythology and Hindu mythology. In fact, the very term na Diwata is derived from I think Sanskrit word, no? But the influence from the Indians arrived to us indirectly na. But the influence stayed on, no? So we have words for that, no? So Diwata. The native term for Diwata actually is Anito, if I'm not mistaken. So they are influences, they are indirect influences, but the ancient Visayans have accepted it and use it in their own terms.
Dagang salamat, Professor Jeffrey. We have more questions for you in a while. We have this question for Dr. Zona. So we have this question for Dr. Zona regarding, we have this many beliefs in the supernatural. What are the implications of this? So why is it that there are so many beliefs in the supernatural?
As what I have shared earlier, this beliefs in the supernatural actually uh, was already there prior to colonization. No? So that's why the folklore that we have until now, and in the past and until now, reflects our culture's beliefs in the supernatural. So even if we were already colonized by Spain and we were taught that there's only one God, and then all these spirits, etc., are demons and they are yawa, even if we are told that, to a certain extent, the beliefs of the pre-colonial Visayans have still found their way into our culture, even if we have been colonized 300 years with totally erasing what our ancestors believed in and introducing these new beliefs and new religion. Our beliefs in the supernatural um, have have still um, have still been passed on through folklore. So, as I have said earlier, pre-colonial Visayans considered themselves vastly outnumbered by the variety of invisible beings, spirits, and deities. So we can see they believed in a lot of spirits all around us. And then that slowly dwindled because of various factors. So with these beliefs in the supernatural, it's not just like that's only one aspect of it, but these beliefs in the supernatural have also been utilized by has been utilized to instill values and to encourage our children, especially to follow the norms of our culture or our society. So, for example, um, caring for the environment. So, why do people believe that there are spirits? So we believe there are spirits in this tree, in this rock, etc. And so people, when told such stories, learn to care for the environment. They don't just cut trees indiscriminately. So, sigig putol. Nasa storya that there are spirits living in these trees or these mountains. Nganong patago na to ang mountain nga. There are spirits in these mountains and they might get angry. So, we might have a disaster or whatever. So, that's one. And then, for children especially, another is telling them not to go out at night. So how do you do that? By talking about our beliefs in the supernatural that are out there, especially during the night. Ay gawas kinay ungo, la kaunon kag aswang, hala taguan kag agta. May ana ano, so we have a lot of these things, or not spending too much time swimming, or you should be obedient to your parents, or you should respect other people. So we have these stories linked to our beliefs in the supernatural that are being told so that we can instill also the values and the norms. So actually, it has functional. Uh, it's also functional in society, to encourage approve social behavior, and to sanction uh, those who violate such approved social behavior. So I think that's it.
So Dr. Zona, so these these folk stories like the Diwatas, and even about these tales about the Diwatas have been really negated by our colonizers, right? So these nature spirits, for example, so when people no longer believe that there is life in the trees, or the mountains are sacred, and it is now so the people are now destroying nature because they don't believe, or we no longer believe that there are spirit in these trees or in these mountains. So 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 these beliefs really have also uh as you said, it's a way to take care of nature. So according to our previous discussion the other 2 weeks ago, regarding the healing tradition, the ancient healing tradition, the people think that our ancestors thought that you become ill when you disrespect the nature spirits. So when you make the nature spirits in the trees, in the seas, in the rivers, and in the mountains, if you make them get angry, then you will become sick. Is that why we're very sick right now? so
Maybe.
actually, Dr. Inasian previously also discussed about the concept of illness, and then of course for you to prevent illnesses, you need to have rituals. So now I would like to ask you about these rituals associated with the beliefs in the supernatural. And everyone, you should listen, because maybe this would come out in our trivia quiz. Who knows, Ritaw? I'm not sure. So Dr. Zona, what are the rituals regarding the supernatural?
Okay, there are actually a lot of rituals. So if we go back to William Henry Scott, he even described a ritual performed in Cebuano society, um, asking for a good harvest, etc. So he called it pag-anito. But recently, we did a study in the upland areas of Argao. They call it Magdiwata. So I don't know what really it's, but Anito and Diwata may be similar, but we heard a lot of Magdiwata, especially among farmers. So and usually they don't want to talk about the ritual because according to them, if they talk especially to strangers or outsiders, they talk about the ritual, it will not be effective anymore. So that's why even when we ask them, can we observe or can we take a video or whatever, they won't allow us to do that. And I recall, based on what you said, that we can look at how indigenous peoples are still doing the rituals now. Actually, the rituals of these indigenous peoples are very similar to the rituals of our ancestors, the pre-colonial Visayans. The problem with the Visayas, especially Cebu, we were the first one to be colonized. And so all these cultures, all these practices are long gone. But there are still remnants, especially in rural areas, where they continue um, to do these rituals, which they call as magdiwata. But from our interviews also of even of the elder generations there of farmers, they said that the priests will really tell them stop doing that because that is actually of the devil. And then even if the priest will tell them, they say when the priest is away, then we will continue doing the ritual. Because as I have said, they have still continued to believe in the supernatural aside from what's being taught by the Catholic Church or the Christian Church. So there are also rituals regarding asking permission from spirits to do something near their homes that might disturb them. So for example, even in our archaeological excavations, jobbers will do rituals prior to opening an archaeological site. Um, Jobbers is one of our faculty. He's an archaeologist, and he does these rituals with the candles and etc., and the prayers, asking permission because we might find this remains, no, fossil remains, and then we might be disturbing the spirits of the ancestors. Or I heard of a ritual. This is already contemporary. Um, Someone from the National Irrigation Administration, before utilizing a water resource under the lakit tree, which is said to be inhabited by an agta and other spirits. They really looked for a miracle, someone who can do rituals, and
A
then
healer.
yeah, he did a ritual at the foot of the lakit tree and ask permission, and then using eggs, blood of the chicken, and things like that. So they really followed what was said to be done, so that they can ask the permission and they can be granted permission by the spirits. So they had a certain sign which they were looking for, and if that sign did not appear, then they cannot continue with the irrigation. But if that sign appeared, then they could. So it means that the spirits already allowed them. But that was after how many chickens and how many pigs had to be slaughtered so that the spirits can be appeased. And even now, for Kalag-Kalag, November 1, we interviewed people in the uplands. They said, we do not go to the cemeteries anymore because the cemetery is down there in the poblacion. So they have these rituals for the kalag, and they prepare food now, put it on a table without salt. They don't put salt, and then they ask the spirits of the ancestors to dine first, and then after a while, that's the time they put in the salt, and then they would eat what they prepared. So we have really a lot of rituals, And then there are also rituals for protection against evil spirits, and usually these are performed by the mananambal. And of course, because of the Catholic Christian tradition already, so we have this sort of a mix already. The mananambal is already imploring the Santo Niño and using the crucifix and etc. But we can see that the rituals for the the earlier spirits in which our ancestors believed in are still being practiced, but it's being like there's some acculturation already, a mix of the religious aspect of Christianity. And so we hear about amulets or anting-anting. So the preparation of this anting-anting or these amulets also undergoes a ritual. And this anting-anting is used for protection against evil spirits. So uh, I think Leon Kilat was also known to have an anting-anting. That's why he was able to um, fight the Spaniards at that time.
Yes.
And I
So
think until now, these are still being believed in by many people.
yes. So of course, Leon Kilat has this is the depiction of the children of Leon Kilat. So Leon Kilat has a sigbin, and Leon Kilat has an anting-anting like the Vistidora. But this is the Vistidora of the Katipuneros. He brought this actually from Luzon. And so, and this is the triangular cloth, and this would all protect him from bullets. So he would become invincible, kublan, because of this anting-anting. So, of course, he was killed because he was betrayed and people took off his amulets, according to the children. So, the version of children was, Leon Kilat was because, of course, it's in history that he was made to drink cerveza, actually. So the children said the enemies took off his koan, his amulets. So anyway, so there is a question here from Wina May Estipular about the relationship between the folklore, the Cebuano folklore, the precolonial Cebuano folklore, and then the ways of preparing food at that time. So is there a relationship? That's the question. So maybe you can answer that later if you cannot yet answer that. So actually there have been comments regarding Maria Cacao and Maria Labok. May we show again, Professor Jeffrey? There is this question that always kept. They have been discussing this at the comment section regarding Maria Cacao and Maria Labo. Maria and someone said Maria Labo is an urban legend. So have you heard about that, Dr. Zona? It's an urban legend in Cebu. Labo. Labo or Labo? Labo? Labo. Does someone here know about Maria Labo? What's my story? Do you know about that, Professor Jeffrey? About Maria Labo? No?
Actually, karon lang na ako na nadungo ka na.
So what's your story about this? What's the story about Maria Labo? Have you heard that? Di ba you've studied that, you've read that during your research on Cebuano folklores about Maria Labo? Huh? Maria Labo is someone. The story, an urban legend, is Maria ate her children. She ate people, and she ate her children. Why did she eat her children? Huh? You don't know? So the story is Maria Labo. So someone they were asking here, they were saying that um, Maria Labo is an urban legend. And they are asking if it is related to Maria Cacao because they know Maria Labo and then but it's different. So what do you think why Maria Labo came out? That is very popular among the young people here. No comment, no comment. So no comment. They are still going to have a thesis about Maria Labo and Maria Cacao. So thank you everyone who asked
So
the
if
question.
it's an
So daghang
urban
salamat,
legend, so it's
Professor
recent.
Jeffrey, it's your first time. I mean Professor Sona Sad. So we have a question actually now for Professor Jeffrey regarding folklore and the oral tradition regarding we have so many folk stories, folk tales, mythology, And then is folklore still being passed through the oral tradition?
Yes, I think and I believe that it is still being passed through oral tradition. And in fact, yung kanang social media and mass media have accentuated kanang gi-emphasize, no? Gi-assist ang pag-disseminate through oral tradition. So, istorya-istorya na, mga urban legends. So, there's a continuity and technology actually helped, no? In the tradition, in the dissemination of such stories, no? Or folk narratives.
So right now, so is if this is oral tradition is usually in the past, the lolo or the lola or the tia or the titas and the titos would be telling stories to the kids, to the children. So right now, if in the city, everyone would be on mobile phone when people gather. So how could the oral tradition have place in the digital world? So how can that be?
Probably through the use of the apps, no? Kanang mga TikTok or even YouTube, no? In YouTube kasi it's a combination of videos, no? Or so visual, at the same time audio. So in a way there's also orality then, but at the same time there's the augmentation by technology. And of course, the traditional face-to-face pag-istoryahay, whenever there are small events, such stories are being retold, no? So through word of mouth. So there's a continuity as long as people will meet in one way or the other through face-to-face pag-istoryahay.
So the storytellers, Professor Jeffrey, were they mainly women? Because usually right now, for example, sa Tagalog, we say mga the Lola Basyang, what's that book or what's that story? The stories of like the yung mga kwento ni Lola Basyang. So the storyteller is a woman. So the women have a special, or did women have a special role in the oral tradition?
Yes. I think it's because given the caring nature and the strong role of women in our societies until the present, no. And of course, many of them are the pillars of the families. They are the ones who are narrating the experiences, no. So in traditional families, I think they are the ones who share the narratives of their traditions, the legends that they have heard about, the myths that they also encountered, and they recount them to their children or grandchildren, so that in a way the younger generations can be rooted in their communities or societies. So it's a form of continuance of memory, but at the same time it's also form of maintaining social cohesion.
Yes. So we would I remember like in our previous discussion we have discussed that the ancient writings there are artifacts of ancient writings found in the ritual pots of Babaylan. So we know about the ancient writing because of those inscribed in the ritual pots by the Babaylan. So my question now is they were the spiritual leaders, the Babaylan, the women and the feminized men were the spiritual leaders in precolonial Visayas. Did they have a key role in the oral tradition, especially the spiritual leaders?
I believe yes, they have a very strong role in the transmission of oral traditions, no, of narratives, especially given their roles as religious leaders, no, Babaylan, or Catalonan or Asog Iduson. Since religion, ancient religion, played an important role in the lives of pre-Hispanic or ancient Visayans, I think it is natural also that they, as part of their rituals or to supplement the rituals, the Babaylans or the women will also narrate legends or any folk narrative to their for lack of better term, their followers, no? In order for for the followers to be more knowledgeable, no, to be aware that this and that are the origins of this and that thing or object or phenomenon, and also they may be aware of possible taboos or any restrictions to actions or utterances or sayings.
So does this have a role? Does it have a relationship with the role of women now in the Catholic morning rituals? Women being spiritual leaders in the past. So does this have a role? This have the role. What can you tell us more about the role of the women now in these rituals?
Yes. I can base this from my personal experience when I was in Mindanao, no, in Zamboanga del Sur some years ago, for the wake of my grandmother, no. So what happened was during the wake, there was this series of prayers, pangadji. One of my relatives, a woman, my grand aunt, led the prayer, a series of prayers which were very long and used deep, quote unquote, deep words, no. And then there are also other women in the group who responded. So in the tradition of Catholic rituals, there's this prayer or prayer response, the ritual, no. There's the prayer response pattern. I think they serve as a continuity of what the Babaylans and other women in pre-Hispanic period had fulfilled, no. So there was a change in context. So the Catholic religion became the predominant creed in many parts of the Visayas. But the Filipinos, knowing that they are very traditional and would stick to age-old beliefs when they think and feel that these are still relevant, they still believe that the women will better be the ones to lead in prayers. So this is in contrast with the official ritual being insisted by the hierarchy, no. So if we notice, if in official rituals like funerals, it is a male priest, no. The priest is a male who will preside in the officially sanctioned prayers. But in the personal aspect, no, in the wakes of people, the women have more leeway to lead in those rituals. And I think this is more personal because the persons who lead this are affiliated or related to the deceased, and they can somehow better express the prayers. They can recite the orations, no, in a more manner that is more related to the people.
Yes. So, Professor, a comment also from our audience says that oral tradition can now evolve and survive through podcasts and YouTube. Actually, this was already also recommended or suggested by our audience in previous webinars and in previous events when they said, like, for example, our Cebuano language, our poetry, our Visayan poetry, how can this be popularized? So there were also discussions that it should be done through podcasts and YouTube. And then also there is a question also for you regarding oral tradition, because there were actually some folk stories that are regarded as fact or as history. So I would like to ask you if oral tradition or oral history a reliable source or reference for historical studies.
Okay, for this question first, I believe yes, but with some qualifications, no. Given that Filipinos are prefer, no, to listen, to share stories through word of mouth, it is part of practice in historical research that oral history be done, especially for events that happened in more recent times, no. But at the same time, in the aspect of folklore, folkloric studies, oral histories are also useful, no? Especially when done successfully and done properly. The methods can thresh out the common um, themes, the motives, and the beliefs, no? Now, at the same time, oral histories can be also or better be supplemented by written accounts, no? Just to be sure. So, to use an analogy, it's like a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. The oral history accounts are form parts, no? Form important parts of a puzzle, and then the documents will form another parts. So it's a challenge of completing the puzzle, so to speak, and if checking if the puzzle pieces will fit, because there are many instances that these accounts and the written accounts won't fit. No, there are discrepancies.
Yes. So, thank you very much. Daghang salamat, Professor Jeffrey. We would call you again later when you will become a judge of the cosplay contest. Now we have two more questions for Dr. Zona, and then stay tuned for already. Get ready, our cosplayers, because it is now your time. After these two more questions for our panelists, you will now be showing and showcasing the Visayan mythical creatures. So we have your characters in Visayan mythology and folklore. So now we have a question for Dr. Zona regarding these folk stories. If these folk stories are still being passed to the younger generation.
Actually, passing on the folk tales, the folklore, would, because it's orally transmitted, so it would really depend on the older generation, if they still tell these stories to their children, um, um, and of course the associated beliefs. No, it's really up to the older generation. So I was reading the comments, and it's good to hear that most of those watching us now, even if they belong to the younger generation, they are telling us that my mother told me that about this story, etc., etc., or my father said like this, like that. I was told by my grandmother, like, and then they even have new stories to tell. So I think that could be a start, because it's really sad if all these stories will just disappear, and we cannot anymore, the younger generation pag yun, kani mga bata na gyud bitaw kaayo, wa na sila ing ana kay unsa na may ilang mga storya, mga Lion King na lang o mga Cinderella, or
Harry
unsa na
Potter,
mga Harry Potter o mga
Avengers.
kana na lay ato ang istorya. So asa naman ang atong istorya mismo nga part gyud sa ato ang culture. So it's very important, no, to pass it on to the next generation, although the next generation may make mga revisions, or mga unsa ni kanang naanay ilahan ng punan-punan og mga kuan ba kanang based on the current times. And then it's also important katong there was one question earlier nga oral ra ba gyud nga pwede na ba siya nga dili lang oral. So in today's world we have a lot of technological advances. I think we can already just like from the oral it became written, and then from the written it was published into books, and then maybe now it could be uh, other forms of media kanang mga available na karon sa younger generation, kanang mga video na or mga unsa diha kanang
Podcast.
digital na unsa na mga podcast, etc. So ang medium of transmitting the stories can already change, pero kuan lagi kanang ang pait sad ana kanang passing on this folklore to the next generation, na affected na gud siya actually with three large factors. Number one, as I have said earlier, ang pag-change og religion, the 300 years that we were colonized and our religion was changed, and until now to ang religion ko na gyud kanang it's really based on one God. So diha, I don't know, we don't believe anymore in the spirits, etc. So that has already affected, number one. And then number two is the formal education. That's why many in the younger generation do not believe anymore, or they just laugh when they are told these stories, etc. Because we cannot read them from our textbooks. Lahi naman ito ang mga storya sa itong textbooks. And of course, ang mass media, o kung gingon ganiha nga, lahi naman ang itong mga storya nga gipang-popularize and usually Western-oriented. So I think there should be a movement. I don't know if 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒏 can spearhead whatever, no, nga documenting all these stories, different versions. Bahalag unsa nga version about such stories nga makita na to across the Visayas. Pwede gid kayo siya nga we can produce mga kung ano other ways of transmitting such para lang mapadayon gid siya. Di siya mawa.
Yes. So actually, Dr. Zona, when we had our workshop with children, because we were thinking that if we are going to retell, we will have a storybook for children. It should be children who would write the story about Leon Quilat. Okay, actually, at first in their workshop, they were talking about they were actually very good. They were very good writers. They studied about Leon Quilat, and then they also discussed the anting-anting in Leon Quilat. But then they were asked by the moderator, what was the most interesting for you about Leon Quilat? And one of them said the 𝒐𝒏. So from among them, we chose about 4 to make write the story of Leon Quilat. Then when we asked them, what is your favorite story? So of course they said Avengers, and they said Harry Potter. They got it. They got their favorite story, their favorite movie, their favorite book are all Western actually. So when they wrote this story, si Leon Quilat ang 𝒐𝒏, they took inspiration from the things that they read, like the movies that they saw. Like for example, Leon Quilat's 𝒕𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐, the one who thought about the power of this 𝒕𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐 was an Avenger fan, and he was thinking that this is like the heart, was it the iron Iron Man, like the heart of Iron Man, that this 𝒕𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐 would light up, and when Leon Quilat would wear it, this would light up and he would shoot into the air. So it's inspired by actually the Western Western stories, and also they have a prophecy for Leon Quilat also based from Harry Potter. So of course the children now are exposed to Western stories, the magical stories, but when they learn about also the stories, our folk stories, they can actually combine it and make a more interesting story. So it's their way to retell a folk story like the 𝒐𝒏. So we have we would like to know also, there is a question for you. What is the importance of knowing about these folk stories? Why is it important that the children, the new generation would still know about these stories?
Of course, it's very important because it's, as I've said, it's part of our culture. And although many would no longer believe in these creatures nowadays, and we don't really believe in the rituals, in the in the beliefs itself, in the spirits, etc. It's still part of what our ancestors believed in way back, no? So we cannot really say, oh, we don't believe that anymore, let's erase all that, because there's no harm in actually talking about these things. Even if the priest would say, oh, don't talk about those things because those are of the demon, or even if our teacher would say, no, don't believe those things because they're not scientific, but still, it's part of our intangible heritage. And that's part of our identity. It's part of our culture. So it's very important that we pass this on to our children, to the next generation, and the next, and the next, and the next. And also, it could still function to instill values in our children, even if these are no longer embedded in the belief systems and in the rituals. These are stories that could instill values still in our younger generation. So I think it's still important to for especially for the younger generation to know about these things.
Yes, because we would know about the stories usually tell about being a good person. Like you should not cut trees, and then you should honor the elderly, and you should be not be proud of your beauty. You should not be vain, and then everything else like you should that usually diba, the stories would say would tell about the good and the evil, and the good always wins in the end. And that's the those are lessons in those stories, right? So the most brave would win the princess also. Then so there is there is a suggestion from John Elton that more talks, more forum, more discussions related to our myths, our Philippine myths should be encouraged in schools. So that's the suggestion from one of our audience, from John Elton Espinosa. So Dr. Zona, also Professor Jeffrey, we are now going to our one of the highlights. We will now have the one of the highlights of our event today. We have our young people um, who are portraying the Visayan mythical creatures, and the Visayan mythical creatures and the deities of precolonial Visayas, and the scary and the beautiful creatures of the Visayas in precolonial Visayas. So we have Dr. Zona. And before that, I would like to show you that our our physical on-site audience here have already taken our version of our hadla cupcake. So hadla is a Cebuano word for being playful. So our creatures are playful and not scary, but are they scary? So so we have our hadla cupcakes here at Palmgrass. So um and then so we would like now to have our judges, and then of course we would now like our audience to know, have we already pinned, did we pin the, it's not, is it pinned, the is the online poll pinned? So the online poll should be pinned. It should be a pinned comment. So the audience can actually you can vote for our cosplayers. Who is your favorite cosplayer? And of course, our criteria are just so simple. So for it is you follow your heart, which character has um, relevance to the theme. So which is most relevant to the theme, and our theme is the ancient Visayan mythical creatures and deities and ancient Visayan gods, goddesses, and mythical creatures. So we have our we have our judges, Professor Dr. Zona Amper, Dr. Zona Saniel-Amper, and we also have our another judge, Professor Jeffrey Asuncion as our judges, and of course they will just rank them 1 to 3, the top 3. They will send their choices to our staff here, our technical team, and our audience, our audience would also you would also vote through the online poll. Have we pinned it already? Is it buried down? It should be pinned. So we are pinning it. So we have how many cosplayers right now? We have in our online poll we have 15 cosplayers, but not all of them are here. But then we have the numbers of our cosplayers, so you can put the number, or you can check it. For those in the online poll, you can check the number, and for our judges, you can take note of their name and their number and their character. for you to judge. So you just have the top three. It is the top three or the top three choices for you. So now you are now going to start. So our cosplayers would be explaining their have you, to the audience, have you seen our online poll? Have you seen it? Is it already pinned here now? So is it pinned? Can you comment it on at the NQC page? So can you have you, to our audience, the online audience, so this is now our, we already pinned the comment. We are already pinning it. So we are also putting the link at the NQC page for you to be a judge also of this. So we actually have three judges: the audience, Professor Jeffrey, and Dr. Zona. So we have three judges. So the one who would win, one vote is from the online audience, and second vote is from Professor Jeffrey, and the third is from Dr. Zona. So right now, I know you're very excited already. So is our video now better? So now we have our Visayan mythical creatures cosplay contest. So we have our cosplayer number one. Do you have music? So we have our cosplayer. We have our cosplayer number one, Francis Valenzuela, Captain.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Francis Valenzuela. I'm Captain, the Visayan Supreme God and the Raja of the Visayan deities.
Daghang salamat. So we still have a problem with our video. Can our audience see it properly? No. Can we fix it? May we fix it so that our audience can see it properly? So we have our cosplayer number one, and that's Francis Valenzuela with Captain. Can we have another camera for that? Can you move this camera, my camera, and show them? Can we have this camera to show them? So we have still show it. So yes. So we would move my camera for you to see them properly. So Francis, can you show yourself again? Do we have a better light for that? So may you face the camera, please? So Francis, may you explain your costume and your character again at the microphone?
Once again, my name is Francis Valenzuela. I'm portraying Captain, the Visayan Supreme God, and my costume is from Songkip and with golden accessories.
Who is Captain?
Captain is the Visayan Supreme God, and he's also the king of the Visayan deities.
Okay, daghang salamat, Francis Valenzuela, contestant, cosplayer number one. So you've seen him properly already. Can we have a better light now? So our cosplayer number two, we have Lee Adlaw. is Liadlaw not here. So Liadlaw is not here. So our cosplayer number 5, the number at the poll is 𝒐𝒐𝒏. Cosplayer number 5 cosplaying Nagmalitong Yawa si Nagmaling Diwata.
Mayong gabi kaninyong tanan. I am 𝒐𝒐𝒏 and tonight I am portraying as Nagmalitong Yawa si Nagmaling Diwata, the precolonial Visayan goddess of love, beauty, and fertility.
Daghang salamat. 𝒐𝒐𝒏 cosplayer number 5. Our cosplayer number 8, we have Zona Saniel-Amper playing the tikbalang.
Mayong gabi natong tanan. Ako dahil si Zona Saniel-Amper. Ako usa ka migugmaong tikbalang. Salamat.
So Zona Saniel-Amper says that he is a loving tikbalang. So our cosplayer number 10 is 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏 playing the Encantado. So we have 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏 playing the Encantado.
Mayong gabi kaninyong tanan. Ako usa ka diwatang barangaw. Kini ang akong sapot nga akong gisuot karon nagsimbolo sa usa ka panganod. Ug kini nga akong bakos nagsimbolo sa usa ka barangaw. Mayong gabi ug salamat kaninyong tanan.
So Jomar was saying that he is Encantado and then he is wearing his clothing represents clouds and his belt represents the rainbow, Barangaw. So that's 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏 number 10, Encantado. Our cosplayer number 11 is 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐 with playing the Diwata.
Maayong gabi kaninyo nga tanan, ani ana sa inyoha nga tubangan ang usa ka maanyag nga nilalang. Ako si Diwatang Binay, nagagikan sa lungsod sa Mabinay. Ako usa sa magamping ug sa magbantay sa mga giya nga gikan sa kahitasan. Daghang salamat.
So 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐 playing the Diwata says she is the beautiful creature and she takes care of nature. So that's 𝒐𝒍𝒌𝒍𝒐 number 11. And then we have our cosplayer number 13. So we have 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐 playing the duende.
Maayong gabi, mga higala! Ako, si Pyro Lorica, ang diwindi sa naga!
So, Pyro, 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐, number 13 says he is the Duende of Naga. Of course, Naga is a town in Cebu. So, our cosplayer number, do we still have cosplayer number 12? Do you have cosplayer number 12, Ivana? So we have cosplayer number 12, Ivana Cho, playing the aswang.
May gabi sa tanan. Ako si Ivana Chu from Cebu City, playing the role of a swan. Thank you.
So that's Ivana Cho, number 12, playing the aswang. And then we have our cosplayer number 15. We have Agta, Ferdinand Ascaraga, Kapre or Agta.
Ako si Ferdinand Ascaraga. Ako usa ka agta o mas inala na karon nga kapre. Daghang maayong gabi kaninyong tanan.
So that's Ferdinand Ascaraga, the cosplayer number 15, playing the Capre. So we are now going to call everyone, every one of them, to show themselves. And of course, while they are on stage, it's raining, but some can be those who wants to be on the rain, or if it's up to you. Let's decide. So now, may we have our camera back, my camera back to me, and then so we have our. So now it's time for you to judge our judges are still judging the contest. So we are going to, and also the audience would now also have judging. Can we have them lined up somewhere that you can take a video of them while we have the trivia quiz, or can you bring that there dito sa where they are at the hallway? Can it be there, or is it too far away from layo na? Or diha na lang? Diri na lang sila? So, can we have them lined up there at the side? So, while they are lining up, can you show me for our trivia quiz? To everyone, we have our trivia quiz. So, prepare yourselves for our trivia quiz. So we have our trivia questions that you can answer, and you will be winning exciting prizes when you are able to answer these questions. So now we have our first question, the first trivia question. So we have may we show our first question. So this is for our physical audience. Do we have a microphone for our physical audience? Or no more kuan? No more physical. O saman, do we have a mic? So the one who would answer, I think we had the physical audience have a hard time with the rain. So we'll have everyone will be online. So all questions would be all questions would be answered online. So the first question is this: what is the name of the dog-like creature in Visayan folklore? And the answer the one who would be able to answer will have santilmo drink. May we have a sample of the santilmo in a while? Are you preparing already? So our santilmo drink of the month is a drink inspired by this mythical ball of fire that according to the old people, are the santilmo. Maybe someone can explain the santilmo is a mythical ball of fire usually found in cemeteries or among the dead. So it's a spirit. So we have can we show the other one here at the other side at this here at this we also show the other camera. So we have our who answered first? So who answered first? So I think the one who answered, Who answered first? Did you check the NQC also? So the first one who answered is. Can you lower the? Focus on. So we have our winner. This is 𝒂𝒊𝒒𝒂𝒍 and answering the sigbin. So you will be able to claim your prize of the santilmo drink with isaw or Betamax when you come here at Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So we should have our can we show our lower the camera so that only the characters would be shown, not the TV. So so those are our cosplayers right now. So next we have our second question, our second trivia quiz. While you are voting, while our judges are voting, we will have our second trivia question. Can you still lower the camera so that only the cosplayers would be seen and not the TV? Or so now we have we now have our second trivia question. Our trivia question. So everyone on NQC page, can someone also check the NQC page? So I'm also looking at the NQC page and also the Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage page. So our second question, our question is, what is the ancient Visayan ritual to ask the good spirits for a good harvest? So the one who would win this would win a hilot binisaya haklop with herbs. This is a traditional binisaya massage with traditional binisaya massage. Can you show us, Estelle, the question? The question, please. The question. So this is the question. What is the ancient Visayan ritual to ask the good spirits for a good harvest? So the winner of this would get Binisaya traditional massage and kawa bath when you come to Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, wherever you are in the Philippines. So it should be a correct answer. It should be an action word, right? This is an action word. The ritual is an act. It is a ritual. What is the name of the ritual that what is the ancient Visayan ritual for a good harvest? So this was discussed to us or with us by our panelist, Dr. Zona, regarding the precolonial supernatural, the precolonial rituals related to our supernatural beliefs. So now we have our koan. Now we have who answered. Who was the first to answer? Wala pa yung naka-answer. So there's someone who answered. So it's Michelle Angela. It's Michelle Angela, right? The first one who answered. It's Michelle Angela. So Michelle Angela, the correct answer is Magdiwata. So the correct answer is Magdiwata, and we have Michelle Angela. Congratulations, Michelle Angela, for winning our hulum kawa and the traditional hilot binisaya. So this is your prize when you come to Pramgrass. Wherever you are in the Philippines, you can still have this. So we have our Santilmo drink, a sample. Can you show me alone? So this is our Santilmo drink. So we have our server here at Kapihan ni Lumaya, Hardin Dagami, playing also, what's her character? Aswang. Manananggal ko no siya, but her body is not yet detached. So we have the Santilmo drink. So this is the Santilmo drink. So this is a flaming drink of the Santilmo drink. And it is really flaming. And this is inspired by the ball of fire. And you will be able to have this when you come to Palmgrass. Lami sad. I cannot finish it. Daghang salamat. Lami ito siya. It's a very strong drink. As strong as the Santilmo, as strong as your fear of the Santilmo. So now, we will now have are you now excited to drink the Santilmo here at Palmgrass Hardin Dagami? So with, of course, Betamax or the isaw. So we would like to show you our hadla treats. While can you show still may we show our mythical creatures cosplayers, and then we have also our hadla treats here at Palmgrass. We have can we show it's hadla. It's a Bisaya word for playful. Our mythical creatures are playful. So we have our hadla treats. When you come to Palmgrass and have you avail of services at Palmgrass, products and services at Palmgrass, the children will have to sluka ang ahos, pakana ang tambaluslos, and they will get treats when they poke the garlic. Of course, garlic is known to be potent against dili ingon nato, and then pakana ang tambaluslos, feed the big mouth, and tambaluslos is also a mythical creature in forest with a very big mouth. Can you move the camera to the last part so that they can also be shown? So also when you come to Palmgrass, you will have extra cold beer when you avail of the bucket of beer, and also another treat is, of course, the overnight stay good for 3. Do we have more? The overnight stay good for 3 with the dinner for only 199, and also you get free biko and you get free putumaya, painit sa kalag-kalag with our pamilya set, with our lechon manok set, pamilya set, lechon belly set, crispy pata set, and other food for the family and the kalag-kalag. So we have painit, our binignit. This is a traditional, a local merienda here in Cebu, in the Visayas. So we have you add only 20 pesos for 𝒐𝒂𝒕 or 𝒂𝒂𝒕𝒐. So do we have our winner? Do we have our winner for our online contest? Do we have for the online contest? So who is the winner for the online contest? For the online contest has. So do we have summary? Not yet. Can you summarize? So for our online contest, the number 3 is The number 3 is Diwata, number 11. So where is Diwata, number 11? Number 11. Diwata is number 3. And then the number 2 in the online poll is number 5, Nagmalitong Yawa. And for the number 1 in the online poll is Kaptan, number 1. So that's the online poll. So we will not tell you the result for our judges. So for our 2 judges, the Professor Jeffrey and Professor Zona, we are still summarizing the we are summarizing the 3 votes. So I guess I don't know. So is there a common common vote? So this is now an exciting thing. So while they are summarizing the votes, we are going we are inviting you to our next events next year. I mean next month. Next month. So can we show we invite you to our next events. So this November 13, we will have, it is the birthday of Cebu hero, General 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂. So General 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 continued the revolution after Leon Quilat was killed or murdered in Karkar. And then this is Maisog, the last warrior standing, with our panelists, journalist, as a New York-based journalist and descendant of General 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂, Marie Vir Montibon, and she is also an author on a book on Cebu history. And also we will have again Professor Jeffrey Asuncion, and since he is an author he has a study on the young revolutionaries in Cebu, especially the revolutionaries under General 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂, and we will be featuring the biography of General Maxilum. This is the Spanish biography of General Maxilum by Senator Vicente Rama of Bagong Kusog, and this is still in the early 1900s, and this is translated from Spanish by Dr. Jobers Reyes Bersales, and watch out for this. We will also have a contest during this time. So on November 20, we will have an extemporaneous speech contest. That's November 20, the extemporaneous speech contest. This is an event. This is a contest in partnership with the DepEd Region 7. And the contest will be on November 20, and the announcement of winners will be on November 30. So the theme would be the 500 years of Visayan heroism, or the 500 years of Cebuano heroism. And on November 30 also, we will have an event celebrating the birthday of Andres Bonifacio, and also with the group Camp Red, we will have a forum on the traditional blades in Visayas, Mindanao, and Luzon, and also a physical exhibit of these blades in the different areas in our archipelago, in our country. And before November 30, we will have a jungle survival workshop. Learn how ancient Visayans survived in forests. So you will learn how to light a fire without like traditionally, and then how to use your blades. So this is on November 28th. So are we ready with our koan? Do we have now the winner? Not yet. So may we ask our judges to say something about what they can say, or if they have more questions for our cosplayers, or may we have our judges now? So Professor Jeffrey and Dr. Zona, may you say a few words about what can you say about our cosplayers? So Professor Jeffrey first. Unmute yourself. So you are muted.
Siguro one question. What inspired you to select the character that you or creature that you depicted in the contest?
can we have the microphone given to them, and then each one of them will say something. And before that, what can you say, Dr. Zona? May you comment something about our cosplayers?
I'll just copy the question of Dr. Jeffrey.
So
so that so
you.
that usa lang ang question.
So the question is, what inspired you to choose your character? May we have first? Is it okay to have this here? Say,
Yes
okay,
po.
okay. That's Captain.
Okay, portraying Captain inspires me to be stronger and powerful like him in a creative way as an artist. So that's why I'm expressing myself as Captain.
Okay, daghang salamat.
Isa pa yan.
Cosplayer number 1, Captain. And we have cosplayer number 5, Nagmalitong Yawa.
Okay, I chose Nagmalitong Yawa since Yawa is a very fascinating character, knowing in today's modern times, Yawa is a demon. But when I self-studied Yawa, I realized that she is not just a demon, but a goddess of fertility, love, and beauty, which was celebrated and honored in the whole Visayan Islands. She was even honored in the Panay epic poem of Hinilawod.
Daghang salamat, cosplayer number 5. So we have cosplayer number 8. This is Tikbalang.
Tikbalang inspired me bilang
Pwede ra Bisaya, and then I will translate it.
ang ugunsaon pagigugma sa isig kataw. Mara, thank you.
So cosplayer number 8 says that Tikbalang inspired him how to love your fellow your fellow man, or your neighbor, or your how to love others. So ang Tikbalang is a helpful person. I mean creature, dili person. Is it a helpful character? Lover boy ko no. So lover boy si Tikbalang. So next is our cosplayer number 10, Encantado.
So, Diwata Barangao inspired me because of his cleanliness to the world and
Bisaya.
sorry. Ang iyang nakanindot niya kay limpyo, ang iyang pagkuan sa iyang kuan kay limpyo siya. Then puro ra kanang mga maayo nga binuhatan ang iyang mahatag sa tibuok kalibutan.
So Encantado says nga, he is inspired by the character Barangao. So Barangao is actually rainbow. And because he looks clean, he looks neat, and he always only gives good things to the world. So that's what Encantado says. That's why he chose the character Encantado. So we have our next cosplayer number 11, Diwata.
I was inspired to portray a Diwata kay para nako, it is one way to show mga babae all over the world or here in the Philippines nga kita tanan gwapa and kaya nato mo amping og mobantay sa bisag kinsa og bisag unsa diri sa kalibutan para.
So Diwata cosplayer number 11 says she chose the character because she wants to show everyone in our country and in the world that we are all the women are all beautiful, and we can take care of everyone and even the world. So we can take care of our of nature and the world. So that's why we are very caring. The women are very caring, like the Diwata. So that's cosplayer number 11. And we have our cosplayer number 13, and Duwende. So what inspired you to choose the character?
For me, murag kanang makarelate ko sa characteristic sa usa ka duwende kay playful siya niya. Kusog siya mo kuan og mga prank sa mga tao, like nako usay mo kuan sa mga prank sa akong mga amigo, like kuan especially sa mga suod nako nga mga friends.
Okay. So cosplayer Duwende says that she is inspired by the character because he is also a playful person, and he also plays pranks on others. That's why he chose Duwende, because Duwende plays pranks on people. So our next character, are we having our, they are all vaccinated actually, and are we having social distancing? So, so we have our next character. This is Aswang. Is it Aswang? Cosplayer number
12.
number 12. Aswang?
Yes.
Uh,
I chose the character as well because as a child, this was the first character that I karang ako na ilhan gani ma'am. No, ano siya. As my what my parents tell me karang like bata pa ta, duwa-duwa sa gawas, and then they will tell us na tayo muli kay gawas ang aswang, so mo na siya. And then one character na common na sa ako o sa aswang is that fierce gani siya. And then that's why I give it a try. And for me, once I go lang, I love to read mga horror stories.
Okay, so the cosplayer number 12 says that she chose the character as Wang because it's the first story that she heard from her parents, and she likes horror stories, and she's inspired by the character. So daghang salamat. So can we have our cosplayer number 15 come nearer the camera so that we can show you because you're so dark? So our cosplayer number 15 is Agta or Kapre.
Mayong gabi. I chose Agta because I realized nga dili tanan nga naa sa kangit-ngit daotan. Dayon, it's also a fact that Agta during the during the colonial times, it later became Kapre or known as Kapre. So it's a hybridization of the Western world incorporated to the East. So there are new influences na introduced, just like the tobacco from the America, as well as the pre-colonial background, which is being black or the Agta side of the creature.
Okay. Daghang salamat. So cosplayer number 15, Agta, says he was inspired to choose the character because it is a hybrid. It's a hybrid character with other influences introduced, like the tobacco from the United States, and also he wants to say that not all black, not all those who are dark are evil. So so that's why he wanted to play the character Agta. Even if you're dark, even if you're black, you can also be good. So so that's our so we have our comments from our Facebook Live viewers. From Marining, she likes your hashtag dili tanang naa sa kangit-ngit dautan. So this is your fan or your friend. Do you know her? Dili so wala di ay, so dili di siya kuan. It's not planted. So this is an organic comment from our audience. So not all who are dili tanang, not all those who are dark are evil. So dili tanang naa sa kangit-ngit dautan. So now we would now have our, can we have them, can they be already there or di pa? Hakuan pa kanang nagulan pa or kaya na nila naa diha? So we will have them. We will now announce the winners. So daghang salamat to our judges, to Professor Jeffrey, to Dr. Zona. So our winner will be able to win. What is the an overnight stay at Pangras Cebu Heritage Hotel with free hilot binisaya, right? Is it free hilot binisaya? Our our first runner-up would be able to win a hilot binisaya with hulum kawa. So it's a kawa bath with it's a healing massage and a healing bath. So we would now like to have them. We will have them. So there are actually tapes on the markings on the where you will be standing, and so so for you to have distancing and also for you to So are you excited to know the winner of our Visayan mythical creatures cosplay contest? So are all of them shown on camera? Not yet. We would like to recall again the names. So our cosplayer number 1 is Captain Francis Valenzuela. Cosplayer number 5, 𝒐𝒓𝒂𝒒, Nagmalitong Yawa. Cosplayer number 8, Tikbalang. Cosplayer number 9, cosplayer number 10, Encantado. Cosplayer number 11, Diwata. Cosplayer number 12, Aswang. Cosplayer number 13, Duwende. And cosplayer number 15 is Capre. So we have our consolation prizes. So do we have our, where is the, finish ah? So we have we will be calling now our number 4. All those who will not be called will be consolation prize, and I will be calling the top 4. So I will be calling the top 4, and everyone who is not in here would be consolation prize with Food for Heroes meal. So we have our dishes here named after heroes, and our consolation prize winners will have our Food for Heroes meal. So nag-ulan na sad. So who will be, so we are blessed by the Anitos, because in the past our ancestors would pray for rain, and we always have rain right now. So our top 4 cosplayers, in no particular order, we have cosplayer number 15. So asa sila mo kuan? Mo stay dire sa side. So you will stay at the side. You will have the camera for you later. Cosplayer number 15. And then we will have also cosplayer number 13. And then cosplayer number 1. And cosplayer number 5. Congratulations to our consolation prize winners. So you are actually have votes also. Our online audience have voted for number 11, and we have votes for also for number 12 from our judges. We have also votes for yes. So we have, can we have the camera for our so where do we have the crowning? So the one who would be crowned as the Ingon Nato 2021. So we have our 4 naog lang na sila, parang dili mo sila. So we have our cosplayers, our top 4. We have our top 4 cosplayers. We have cosplayer number 15, number 13, number 1, and number 5. So so nanatay drum roll. So we have, so for our first runner up, immediately runner up na dircho no. Our first runner up, the cosplayer who got the second place or first runner up is cosplayer number 1, Captain. So can we have it down so that it can be seen, the costume? So we have now we have our winner, our champion, our grand winner for our Visayan Mythical Creatures Cosplay Contest 2021. Our winner for Ingon Nato 2021 is cosplayer number cosplayer number 5, Nagmalitong Yawa. Congratulations, everyone. And so so we would be crowning our cosplayer uh, number 5, our our number 1 cosplayer, our Ingon Nato 2021 with uh with a sarok and a crown. So gunita na lang ng sarok kay dili man maigo sa headdress. So the sarok is the crown, and this was the crown of Juana. So daghang salamat. So we would like to have our panelists again for their closing statements. So we would like to have we would like to have Professor Jeffrey for your closing statement for our event today.
Okay, maayong gabi sa atong tanan. So we thank 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐𝒏 sa organizing this event. So what is important for tonight, no, galing ng hapon, is appreciating our past, no, our pre-Hispanic past, and the cosplay and the presentations help us in further exploring our past, which actually have their continuation in the present. So padayon lang ta, balik ko na to atong past. Thank you.
Daghang salamat, Professor Jeffrey. We're so happy that you are with us, and we are looking forward to having you again next month, middle of next month. And we will have also the closing statement from Dr. Zona Saniel-Amper, our Suki resource person.
So just kuan lang siguro no kanang we would appreciate it very much if the younger generation will continue to be interested and involved in telling our stories that reflect the beliefs of our ancestors in the past, so that our culture can be appreciated by the much younger generation in years to come. Because if the young generation now will not appreciate, will not tell these stories to the younger ones, then we can imagine a future that does not anymore reflect any of these things. So that's very important. Thank you. And thank you to 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐 for making this possible and inviting the younger generation to be interested in these things. Thank you.
So daghang salamat, Dr. Zona. So we really made it a point ever since 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒐 started. We do not actually celebrate Halloween. We always say hadla hadla, hadlok hadlok, like playful and scary nights at 𝒊𝒏𝒈�lac, but we don't term it as Halloween because we celebrate actually Kalag Kalag or All Souls Day, and it is a time for us to remember our ancestors who are also regarded as gods, right, by our precolonial sa Visayans. So daghang salamat to our audience, our physical and online audience. Daghang salamat to our cosplay contestants. So they are no longer here because the gods have been raining down, giving us blessings of rain right now. So we thank our partners. The partnering with 𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒄, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, is the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. May we show the logos of our partners? So the National Quincentennial Committee, the Culture, Arts, and Design Association of the Philippines. So there were so many from the Social Science Department of the Cebu Normal University. Daghang salamat to Dr. Ray Inusian and his students and fellow teachers for asking their students to really join this event and make a reaction paper out of this. So that's why we have so many participants from the Cebu Normal University, and we also thank the Museo Sugbo, the University of San Carlos, Department of Anthropology, Sociology and History, the Central Visayas Association of Museums, SOAN 2020, the Yandi Heritage Center, Queen City, Cebu. Daghang salamat, Professor 𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒐 Asuncion of the UP Los Baños and Dr. Zona Saniel-Amper of the University of San Carlos. Daghang salamat to the cosplayers and to our audience online and physical on-site. See you again in our next event. Daghang salamat ug maayong gabi. Maayong kalag-kalag, hadla-hadla ug hadlok-hadlok sa kalag-kalag.
Maayong gabi.
Maayong gabi.
Maayong gabi.
So, we are done. Yes. We have actually a video that made a few years ago by our intern from the University of the Philippines, and this is the Cebuano mythical creatures, and this is her version of the Cebuano mythical creatures. Daghang salamat.